3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin The Racin.
Hello everyone, just a quick note from us ahead of you watching these two episodes. These two episodes that you're about to see were actually recorded at the first round of the British Superbike Championship at Alton Park, where unfortunately we had the tragic accident in the opening laps of the British Supersport race on Monday, which resulted in the passing of Owen Jenner and Shane Richardson. We didn't reference this at the time of recording these episodes, which is why we'd like to put this message out now. It's a huge loss to our sport. It's a huge loss to the BSB community. We just want to give a message from the entire CTR family that our thoughts and condolences are with the friends, family and team members of both Owen and Shane. BSB has a huge fan base and a huge following, and when we have tragedies like this, it can be felt far and wide in lots of different ways. We know how important mental health is, and we encourage everybody to reach out and talk to each other and get the support they need. We know that Chris Barnes, alongside the British Superbike organisers, did put on a facility, a space at Donington Park, and the use of a professional. So if anybody needed support or would like to talk to anybody, they can use that space. Furthermore, we do some work with a charity called Motorbike, Mental Health Motorbike, a fantastic organisation run by bikers who are there to support you. We're going to put the links to all of those in the description, and we encourage anybody who feels like they need some support to reach out to those guys. For now, please enjoy the episodes that you're about to see, and please keep Owen and Shane in your thoughts throughout.
And welcome back to the podcast, brought to you by OMG Racing, Lucky Day Competitions, and of course JCT Truck and Trailer Hire. In the hot seat with me is the delicious the podium finishing Josh Corner. It's amazing what happens in a short space of time. And our episode sponsor is also the guest for this evening. This is a perfect opportunity to introduce to you MILKY QUAYLE, who I have just found out your name is Richard. That is mind-blowing. But MILKY QUAYLE, how are we doing, son?
Oh, very good, thank you, gentlemen. Very good. It's an honour to be here, boys, and yeah, thanks for having me.
You can tell you've raced and won TTs, can't you? TT winners, that's an honour to be here. He does not mean a single word of this. I absolutely love it. But obviously, our episode sponsor, you and the family have been incredibly busy at home on the Isle of Man. Please tell us all about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, geez, as well as motorbike racing and all that sort of TT stuff, it's we've maybe a bit of a midlife crisis, I don't know, but we bought a disused nightclub like you do, and I've converted it into like a cafe, a barber's and a restaurant-y sort of thing. So yeah, it's going really good. I mean, that's our business. Is my wife's been a barber since she was 15, and we've rented in town in Douglas right in the main street for 15 years, and that's all well and good. Don't get me wrong, you're in the prime spot, but we just needed to have our own place, because you're just renting, you're just paying dead money, isn't it? And we thought, you know what, we need to have our own place. So we had a big mortgage when it was COVID. When COVID hit, really, that was a big thing.
Right. Yeah.
So in Barbering, it was the first to close, last to open. The landlord still wanted his rent. We had big rent going out. We had big mortgage going out. It's like shit, and. It just bought Imaging Catty to do the try options on, and it was like, shit, I'm going to pay that. I'm still paying that on finance now, I think. So,
and by the way, for the audio listeners, we obviously have Liam Quayle the son, but we're going to get into this side, and that's why we're parked up at Alton Park. But no, God love him, he's sitting in the corner going, I've heard this story so many bloody times. But I tell you what, we're going to jump into all those details, but you actually haven't given us the name and the location.
Oh yes, sorry. This program is kindly sponsored by Paramount City. Yeah,
nice.
Paramount City Coffee House and Barbers is the official title.
No, fantastic.
So whereabouts on the island?
It's literally on Douglas Promenade, literally smack bang on Douglas Promenade, just at the bottom of Summer Hill. So just before you go up Summer Hill, towards Governor's Bridge, basically. Yeah. It's an iconic building. It's the one and only building like it on the Isle of Man. It's a real Art Deco, 1930s build. It's very unique. It is like I say, it's an old nightclub effectively. So.
And I can personally, I was over at the TT, God, Bennett, at the beginning of March there, and from first-hand experience, and there's a bit of pressure he's sitting opposite, so I normally have to sell a big pitch, but honestly, what you have done, what was the name of the nightclub called?
Yeah, it was called Paramount City.
What? Oh, right.
Yeah, well, that was the thing.
I'm thinking it was Colours, or was that the nightclub further up the road?
No, yeah, that was the one underneath the Palace, underneath the Hilton.
There you go, you can tell where I spent my nights on the TT.
Well, I mean, the thing is that we've got me and my wife Liddy, she's an amazing woman. She's the best woman in the world. I'm sure there's plenty of nice women out there as well, but my wife is the best. Yeah, she's an amazing girl, and like I say, we've rented shops, and we thought what I need to do is consolidate and put my house and my living into one thing, rather than having rent going out here, mortgage going out here, and it was just going out of control. And it was like, we need to control this. So after COVID, we thought, right, we need to buy a commercial property that we can live in, but also work from. So effectively, it's like working from my spare bedroom.
And also, to fill in the gaps, that's not his only job. You're riding liaison officer at the Isle of Man TT, which is a full-time gig
20th year this year. 20 years I've been doing that job.
You're aging like Dracula. You're getting back. You're going younger then. Jesus, wet.
Yeah, 20 years this year. Me and Paul first got involved in it, so yeah.
20 years. But I tell you what, we're going to go into that. Yeah. But I feel like we're going to have to step this off simply with, why the hell are you called Milky Quayle? Because your real name being Richard.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Well, again, it's one of those things that everyone has nicknames, don't they, throughout their younger age.
I'm trying to think of mine. There's a lot I probably can't see on it.
But yeah, so I just, I was, again, as soon as I was 18 years of age, I left school. I'm a car mechanic by trade, so I left school 15, went in to be a greasy car mechanic, did that, did my apprenticeship, and then obviously I was riding bikes, so I never went down the route like the kids seem to do now, where they're all racing at 7 years of age on, I was a road rider. That's how I started. I started at the age of 16, bombing around the TT course between hedges, buses, trucks, going mental, on a Sunday. And that's how I started. And it was like, for me, riding around on the road bike was natural. Do you know what I mean? That was the natural danger. So when I got on the racetrack, it felt simple. So there wasn't a truck coming towards me or thinking about overtaking and stuff. So that was good. But the riding on the oh geez, I forgot where we're going now with that one. I've gone there and doing that rabbit hole. But
like you say, you were going from like road racing. Like you were on the road. You got on the short circuits, and you were like, did that actually tickle any of your fancy? Because I'm assuming
no. I was never interested in riding on short circuits. Short circuits were purely just so I could get the license to go on the TT course. That was.
And did you just do short circuits on the Isle of Man?
No, I did over here as well. Did MRO and stuff like that. Yeah. No. I mean, it's something you need to do to hone your skills. So it was. So like I say, I was 16. I got my road license and stuff, and then. That was it then. So shit, we were talking about work, weren't we? That was it.
No, we're talking about how you got your nickname.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So yes. I was bloody hell. Yeah. I'm getting Alzheimer's, I reckon. But, yeah. So we were. So when I was 16, I was a mechanic. I needed more money, obviously, to fund my bike racing, to buy my bikes. So as soon as I was 18, I thought I need to get a bar job, work at nights, work during the day, work at nights as well, get the money in, and I'll pay for it. So as soon as literally my 18th birthday, I went and got a job in there's a pub, used to be a pub in Castletown called The Ship, because I'm a Southern boy. I'm down by the Southern 100, the Southern 100 course.
Right.
That was my local track, really.
Is that the glue pot?
Well, the glue pot's the next one over. I've worked there as well, but I started in the Ship. Now the Ship was a proper rough old spot. Like it was, I'm sure if people watching it have been there in the late 80s, early 90s, it was a proper rough old dive of a place. But it was mega. It was the first job. A spotty 18-year-old, I'm behind a bar, shaking like a shitting dog to all these locals that were like, throwing abuse at me. And one of them went, "Hey, he looks like the fucking Milky Bar kid," because I used to have glasses with blonde hair and. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I do, yeah," and that was it. And
you're barred.
Yeah. No, it was just thing, and when someone takes the piss out of you, rather than go and get nasty, I was like, "Yeah, I am, yeah, the Milky Bars are on me," and all this, and so that was it. It just followed on from that, and a fella called Alan Cragina's name was Big Al, and he was he was like. When you go into a local pub and there's always the one person,
the guy.
Yeah, it's the main man. Big Al was the main man. Do you know what I mean? And so it was like, yeah, I'll just follow on with that. It's something different. Do you know what I mean? I'll carry that on. So that was it. So that's where it started. It started in the glue pot, in the Ship Inn in Castletown, and that's. I always thought through my racing career it was always nice to have something different and stand out. Rather than just being John Smith. Oh, it's John Smith on a white bike with a red set of leathers. Do you know what I mean? It was always. Yeah, it's Milky. So I always had Milky bars in the van. So when kids come round, you could give them a Milky bar and an autograph. Days before selfies and photographs, it was just something that you had a chocolate bar to give them. I mean, you can't do that. Geez, you can't even do that now, can you? Because everyone's got allergies and isms and all that sort of shit. So you can't even give chocolate out now, can you? Because someone have a fit on the floor in front of you. So, but it was in them days you could do that. So, yeah, I always thought it was just nice to be stand out from a crowd, a little bit different, and it was just a bit jovial. Milky Bar, why is it called the Milky Bar Kid? You know what I mean? And so. Yeah, so that was where it came from, really. So,
well, I think one of the most famous moments is now I feel I'm fast forwarding the story here, and we'll obviously have to go back to you coming over from the Isle of Man, but you won the Manx Grand Prix before you won your first TT. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
So anyway, we're not going to delve in the detail yet, but there's a very it's steeped in history, the Manx Grand Prix. It's nearly as old as the TT itself. Now they've got this chariot to carry it in, and I tell you what, he fully embraced the madness, right? Dressed up as a Milky Bar Kid. But the secret was, so obviously you sat down, your mechanics, and you chose your best mates to carry you. And you can imagine, normally everyone's full of beer. People are tipping out. It was an honour just to get to the end. So they flipped him out, and half of his suit was cut in half, and it was stockings in his bare.
No, that was different, Dom. Honestly, yeah, that was a different thing. No, because that was the second time when I won the classic.
That was it. Yeah. Anyway, I remember seeing his bare ass in stockings. Anyway,
well, that was ace. That was again because when I won the TT, when I won the Manx, I got dressed up in milk and I was throwing Milky bars out of it when I was sat there because they literally tried to fuck you off out of it, go up and down. They've had a load of ale on board, so they want to sack you off on the floor. So there's two. It's an iconic ride. You sat on it. It's like two little handles that you try and hang on to,
chariot,
just like a chariot, and they're just shaking it and trying to get you off. And so the first when I did it, I thought I need to do something different here. Again, I just don't want to go up in a suit and my team shirt. I was like, yeah, let's go dressed up as a Milky Bar Kid, like you do.
Why not?
Yeah, like you do. So, and I just used to throw all the Milky Bars out. So when I did the double at the Manx Grand Prix that year. So that was that. So then when I won the 500 Classic race at the Manx Grand Prix, I thought, I can't go as the Milky Bar Kid. You can't do the same thing twice,
can you?
Already, yeah, I've been there, done that. So I thought, I need to do something different. So again, I'm from the era of the 80s, I suppose. And
when people had fun.
When Kenny Everett was, Jesus, he's banned now, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? But, Kenny Everett was a bit risky, wasn't he? And he used to have he had a suit that was from the front, was a 3-piece suit, mega dead smart, but the back it was suzzies and suspenders. So I got me next door neighbour. When I won it, I thought, shit, well, I'm going to have to get a suit for that. Because I don't own a suit. I don't even own a suit now. I mean, I'm going to meet the king. I'm going to meet the king this week. And I haven't got a suit.
There's a name drop. I'll tell you what, Milky. We've had some name drops on this episode, but when you start throwing around, I'm off to meet the King of England.
How are you meeting the king? What's happening there?
Oh, jeez.
Pints.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to garden party actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, doing a garden party on Wednesday.
Oh no way.
Yeah, no. It comes because I got that bit of an honour, didn't I? I got a bit of an honour last in the honours list.
Ah, right.
So that's part of you going.
I feel really bad that I don't know that, but I've honestly never been more jealous of a guest ever. That's fantastic.
I got a BM, British Empire Medal.
Congratulations, man!
In the honours list. So, so I've got the medal and stuff that I got in the Isle of Man from the governor. Governor's Bridge.
Yeah.
That's Governor's Bridge is because the governor of the Isle of Man lives in that big house right next to it.
Right.
So. And he's the Queen or the King's representative on the Isle of Man because we're a sovereign jurisdiction, you see. So, so he's
tax
like. I wish I was. I am.
Says a tax dodger.
Yeah. But so they give me the medal. But I need to obviously.
You got to go see
man. Yeah, so you go and see the king to shake his hand.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I'm going to go and meet him on Wednesday. So I literally
But not the suit that you won the 500 Classic in.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wear the Kenny Everett suit to that one, can you? But the best thing was going back to the Kenny Everett suit, right? So the guest of honour that year was Maury Walker, right? And Maury's like everyone's hero. And it's Maury Walker. He's amazing, isn't he? He's like the king, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He is. So, so I thought, is it going to be a bit disrespectful? Going on the stage and showing me ass to Maury Walker.
No.
I mean, but I thought Maury's the type that would love it, wouldn't he? Yeah, I mean, so I won the race. I went to see my next door neighbour, Yvonne. I said, Yvonne, can you make me this, like, literally now? Because she'd already made me another suit, actually. No, sorry. She'd already made me another suit when I won the TT. I forgot that. Yeah, shit. She made me a 3 Legs a Man suit. I bought from the charity shop. I bought a beige suit and I dyed it red, and she then put like 3 Legs a Man all over it.
Right.
So just to have it, because be different, just to be different. So, a bit like with my nickname, and it's like when my first bike, I paint splattered my first bike. I just threw a load of paint on it rather than just a plain white TZ. It was like fuck it, I just throw a load of paint on it, and I've had camouflage bikes in the past, and it's just
different.
It makes you start, rather than just being the same thing. It's just makes you be a bit different, doesn't it? So that's.
So when you first started racing, so obviously you've come from the roads, so I say it's a backward story. This I'm saying roads, like you were racing at this point, so you were playing on public roads, and you went to short circuits.
Don't tell the king that.
No, I was doing the regular speeds. Honestly, I was opposite. Honestly, yeah.
But was anyone that conscious decision to go, I need to stand out? Were you the only one doing that at that point?
No, I don't know really. I don't know. I don't know. I just you're your own man. I've always been my own man. Do you know what I mean? I've always said what I've wanted to say. Do you know what I mean? I've never tried to be politically correct or anything like that. You just say what you've got to be genuine with yourself, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So I just wanted to just be myself, and that was it. So, it's. I understand. Everyone wants. It's a bit like the Guy Martin syndrome, isn't it? Really, a little bit. Everyone wants to be extrovert and crazy and nuts, but in the general way of life, you can't do that because you can't keep your job down. Do you know what I mean? If you started arsing around, your boss would just sack you. Oh, I've just had enough of him. Get rid of him. Do you know what I mean? So everyone loves someone who's different because they think, shit, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be different like that. But in your normal way of life, in normal life, you can't do that. But I think when you race a motorbike, you're on the edge anyway, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You're living life. I always say, when you ride a motorbike, you're living your life you're not just existing, you are living it. So, you have to enjoy yourself because time's short in it. 1 minute you can be here, next minute you've been gone. So that's why you've always got to enjoy it. Always got to be happy and smiley. It annoys me when people are all down in the dumps and shit. And you're like, fella, you're living, you're breathing. You should be happy with that. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at things. You know what I mean? It's just like, we all have bad days, don't we? We all have bad shit that goes on, but you've just got to battle through that, and you got to be gracious for what you've got and what you got given. And I don't know.
I completely agree. And I think you've kind of answered one of my next questions. There was a bit like, who was the last person to really stand out? Was arguably Guy Martin. I'm talking about, that's an open question to the pair of you.
Don't know. You're a bit of a standout character.
No, but
I think that's probably why I like you. Oh, you've just answered that for us. I've been wondering about it for a while.
But all joking aside, we're here in the BSB paddock. It's a very professional atmosphere. It is. It's the fastest domesticated series in Europe, arguably in the world. Who was the most standout rider off and on track?
I think probably Storm Stacey in the modern era is like a bit.
Yeah. Scott Reddin's I always think Scott Reddin's a little bit edgy as well. You know what I mean? And just, I think the trouble is the way the world's gone now. It's made us all a bit that way because you all have to be very gracious. Yeah. And I think if someone sees you having a bit of a laugh, they think you're not taking it serious.
Yes,
that's the trouble. Agree. That's the trouble. Everyone thinks, oh, he's not running the track and fucking drinking orange juice. What do you mean he's drinking bottles of beer? But we're all human beings. You've got to have your downtime. I say this to all my newcomers. I said, look, the riding's hard and serious, but you've got to have some downtime. It can consume if you just get too engrossed in it, it's going to consume you and it'll push you over the edge and you're not enjoying it. We all do it we all ride motorbikes to enjoy it, don't we?
Yeah, especially at the TT. It's so full on, isn't it?
It is literally. Yeah, it is full on. It's full on, but it needs to be full on in the right way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. You need to have I say to the lads, look, you've got to get out of the paddock. Take your missus to Peel, have an ice cream, go down the Sound. Just do a bit of sightseeing. Don't just be round the paddock worrying about lap times, watching the on boards and thinking, shit, I can look at my sector times. So I need to say, it puts you, it puts you it messes with your head. It's because it is, as you know, it's fucking mental. It's like, it's just literally, it's like being in a time machine. I always think TT week. You think, I've got 2 weeks. I've got 2 weeks. Fuck me. Before you know it, you spat out the end of it and gone, shit, what happened there? Where's my 2 weeks gone? And it's a bit like when you do laps, the same. When you're on a good lap, you set off, you're fighting the bike all the way through Glen Allen section, you come onto Croncavadi, the thing's locked to lock, and you're thinking, I've got to hang on to this for another 6 laps. Before you know it, you're back there at the grandstand, and it's like, Where's then
where did that
hour
go?
and a half gone?
Yeah.
It's just it's mental. It's just it's a funny old place for that because it is all consuming. It's so intense. Your concentration levels are so high. So
on that topic, one of the things when I heard you were coming on, one of the things I really wanted to ask you about was what you think the differences are between racing then and now. And I think you're a bit unique in what you've done racing wise with the TT and stuff. So, but in order to get to that, I would love to just hear a little bit about your story, about how you got there. So I know you were riding on the roads, but you came over here? Was that club racing or British Championship?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, again, I was started. My mum and dad never had any money, didn't have a pot to piss in. Do you know what I mean? So we literally lived in a council house, and then my dad's uncle died and left in this derelict house. My dad did it up from scratch. Mm-hmm. So we lived in a little Manx 2 up, 2 down cottage in the middle of just above the Southern 100 track. Do you know what I mean? So it was just, I shared a bedroom with my brother, and I was just
normal life.
Yeah, normal working lad life. But my dad was always into motorbikes. He never had the money to race. He'd love to have raced when he was nipper, but again, he never had the money. But he rode on the road, and again in the 50s and 60s, everybody rode a motorbike, didn't they? Everyone rode to work and stuff, and so he would go out with his mates, and 2 or 3 of them would get killed every year, and it was just chaos. It was literally chaos. And my dad was always like, again a bit like me with him, trying to stay off of bloody things. They are dangerous things, but I'd go and sit and watch I started at watching the Southern 100. The Southern 100 was my race. It wasn't the TT because I was from down south.
That was on your door?
Yeah, it was on my door. So my dad used to marshal at the Southern 100. So my dad would put me at Bland Dip. I'd sit on the gatepost as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid, just with my little programme and my sandwiches, watching all the TZs go past. The smell. The morning practices down the Southern 100 was just fantastic. And, the Southern's a cracking little spot. It's a cracking little race. And so that was my real introduction to motorbikes, I suppose, because my dad had such an interest in it. Now, if my dad wasn't into it, then I probably never got into it.
That's always a big question on this show.
Yeah, I always think if your dad's into something, you generally follow it.
Yeah. You're certainly exposed to it.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
kind of choose to go one way with it or not.
Again, I remember sat there at 4 years of age thinking, that's what I want to do when I grow up.
Yeah.
When I grow up, not that I've ever grown up, but when I grow up, that's what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? That's
so you were sort of it.
That was me. I was hooked. Yeah, at 4 years of age, that was it. That's what I'm going to do.
And you got riding on the road because you seen that as your route, really. Like, well, I need a bike, and I get a license.
I raced the bike I went to work on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was it. It was just it was.
What was your first race bike then?
My first RGV 250.
Ah, right.
RGV, yeah.
And you would race that at like Derby.
Yeah. Basically started at Derby, 1994. 1994 was my first year I started.
So by the sounds of it already, like you coming over here, sort of borderline a bit of a chore. I'm putting words in your mouth there, but you knew where you wanted to be.
So ultimately, like I say, I was riding on the road. I used to go out on a Sunday afternoon. Like Sunday was the day. Sunday was my day. I'd work all up to Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I'd finish work. I'd go down, get my hair cut, get a new shirt for going out or whatever, or going to work, and then Sunday was my day. So I got up in the morning, I'd clean my bike in the morning, and then dinner time I'd head up to Ramsey Swimming Baths, and that's where we all met up, at Ramsey Swimming Baths. And there was everybody in my year. There was a few of my mates that were into motorbikes, but not as mental as I was. I mean, as soon as they got to 18, they were off in the pub, and I was like, they were going, are you coming down the pub? I was like, no, I just want to go do a lap. I had a DR125. I started on DR125 with a Michelin X91s or the X71s or something, trials tire on the back of it. So you'd be going down the Craig like 70 mile an hour flat out on chin on the tank on this thing, and it was just but I was living. I felt like I was doing 190 mile an hour. I was in love. I loved it. So that was my thing on a DR125, and then as soon as I was, because in the Isle of Man you can get a bike when you're 16, a 125 at 16. So
did you used to be able to do that? I think you used to be able to do that here, did you not?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
You can't now.
No, you can get a 50cc. That's 16, but it was 17. You get a 125
with gears and stuff.
When I was at my age,
you can drive a car at 16.
Yeah. You can pass the test.
Heard that.
Yeah. But on a bike, you could get 125 at 16, and then as soon as you're 17, you can get whatever you wanted. Some of my mates had GPZ 750s, 900s.
Yeah.
At 17 years of age.
Not like it is now. Where...
No. Well, you got restricted age limits and horsepower, shite like that. So, at 17, I got a KMX 200. KMX 200, what a motorbike they are. They are the best motorbike
You know,
in the world.
like, you know, for the audio listeners, you cannot hear the smile that's on this man's face talking about a trials bike tyre on the back of a 125, talking about 200. Mate, it's actually intoxicating.
Again, I don't get me wrong. I wanted to go road racing, but the good thing is with a trail bike, I could do everything. You can do everything dual purpose in it. So I could go off trail riding because the Isle of Man's mega for trail riding as well.
Yeah.
So you could do the tracks on DR125 and KMX 200. I was doing 2-day trial route opening and stuff for that. Just to going around, making sure all the marshals at the marshalling points and make sure the flags are out and just bombing off. And so so KMX 200, let's say, they are the best bike. Like, people go on about these adventure bikes and stuff now, being big GSs and all that, and they're shite. Honestly, you want a KMX 200, that's what you want. Honestly, they'll do 100 mile an hour. They'll do 100 mile an hour, and they're still a really good off-road. They're still capable little off-road bike race.
Sorry, I'm not being rude. I'm looking at the Patreon questions, looking for a Kawasaki related question here.
What year would you? I'm trying to piece the timeline. So 94 first race in like Derby.
Yeah. Well, so I got my license. So I was on the road from about 1990 to about 93, 94. I was riding on the roads,
flat out,
mental on a Sunday, meeting all the lads at Ramsey Swim Baths.
Did you ever get any bother? Did you get any?
Yeah, we had a few little incidents, but that's just what happens.
Was that the trigger? To go,
no, not really. Like I say, the TT was always my goal.
It was on your mind anyway.
Yeah, literally that was always what I wanted to do. So it was just that in the 90s there was more of a bike culture. There was more people on bikes than there are now, purely for, I think, because obviously insurance and traffic and stuff like that and regulations. And now there's no speed cameras or anything like that, and so you could literally go mental. Like we are so fortunate still in the Isle of Man that you can go as fast as you want outside the speed limits. Which it's the best place in the world to live for that reason. It's the Isle of Man's amazing. You got the TTs. It's beautiful.
That being said, what a friend here. So first time
do not grass me up to Milky Quayle. Hold on,
no. Listen to this. It's not bad, right? It's the opposite. I'm going to show how you're a shit friend.
No. He's going to grass me up because I've got to work with him in a couple of weeks, right? And then you're going to want to do it one day, and then you're going to tell me off indirect. I know what's coming.
First time ever coming to see him at the TT. I'd never been, wanting to go for years. I was like, right, I really want to go and do a lap. He's like, there's no speed limit over the mountain and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, sound. Well, can I get something to go around on? Yeah, no problem. I've got a Honda Grom for you, son.
He's still here.
I'm still going round.
Yeah. By the way, for disclaimer reasons, by the way, the Isle of Man are shit hot on dangerous riding. All joking aside, now there is open speed limits. Now in the Isle of Man, it's like they do clamp them areas down because like during off season, as I call it, that there's a lot more. Now, the national speed limit sign, which is for the highway code people who are learning, is obviously the white circle with the black stripe through the middle. But in the Isle of Man, there's a lot more open areas. But the Isle of Man TT time and the Manx Grand Prix time, they turn them down to 40s and 50s.
Yeah, they stretch them out a bit.
But the open speed limit is, yes, you can do what you want, but put it this way, if you've got your knee down going the opposite side of the road, the coppers will destroy your throat.
It's like anything though, isn't it? It's, you always get someone who takes the piss. Of
course you do.
And, there's... People often say, speed kills, but it's the misuse of speed. It's not. Yeah. It's not the speed.
There's a T-shirt there, Milky.
Yeah. It's a
T-shirt. I've never seen a gun shoot anyone.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Fucking wally on the end of it, isn't it? Same with bikes and cars.
And it's just you've got to have some respect. You know what I mean? And it's just some people don't have the respect, do they? Do you know what I mean? But
I just don't want all our listeners to turn it down. Man, go, well, Milky told me.
It is very good like that. Like I got a real shock. So I'm taking the piss, obviously going around on the Grom, but actually it was fantastic because I was shitting myself for getting nicked for speeding on like the slowest bike in the world.
On my bike and
and then but when you get up onto the mountain and stuff, like I literally had a pair of shorts on. Like I know it was horrendous, but it was me one and only opportunity to go. And there was fucking cars coming past and stuff, but there was like police at the start, police at the end, and you felt like it felt safe. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, again, they don't tolerate being a dick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Which is a good thing, like you say.
100%. I mean, you've like I say, it just comes down to respect, doesn't it? And using this, do you know what I mean? And it's all well and good having a bit of a laugh with the lads and stuff, but you've still got to look after yourself, haven't you?
Because at the TT specifically, they actually do it one way. like a one-way system. Now, you know what? I'm going to save that question. I'm going to make a note of that question. But let's continue down.
Yes,
No.
It's my fault.
This is what happens when you get 3 races, 4 races, including this, and you just end up asking random questions. But let's stick with the timetable.
Even like you talked about there, I was only telling Ellie this the other day, and we were talking about it with another lad, and Mad Sunday was my day. It was because Mad Sunday was like the name's in the title. It was the only day that you could actually go one way on the mountain. It used to. It's only now it's for the whole duration of the 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Whereas in the old days, it was literally, it was 2-way traffic apart from Mad Sunday, the middle after the Formula 1 race. That was the day. So, and it wasn't all day. It was literally from 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. And then they went, right, okay, everyone's back 2-way again.
Yeah.
And it was chaos. It was literally chaos. And that's why they changed it. So people, because what used to happen is, people would go, right, it's my one chance to go mental over the mountain. The weather's shit. There's loads of traffic. Everyone would just go completely bonkers and crash their brains out. So, whereas at least now people have got time to build up to it. Yeah. So if you come for 2 weeks on holiday, you think, well, I've never been here before. I'll go over the mountain and learn the track a little bit, and then go fast a little bit faster over the mountain the next day, a little bit faster, and that's made it a lot safer, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to ask me a question now because we're fully in depth of it. Do you think they will ever close the one-way system? Now, the reason I'm saying that is because they have had nights cancelled, like through RTCs, road traffic collisions. So there has been incidents outside of like Gary Thompson, the team's control. Do you think in the future it could be scrapped?
Yeah, but the problem you've got is, again, like especially on a practice evening, race days aren't quite so bad because it's early on and stuff, but on a practice evening is the worst thing, because what tends to happen is everyone's out during the day lapping round. And then come 6 o'clock, everyone's like, shit, I need to get to my vantage point, or 5:30, thinking, shit, I need to get my vantage point. So what tends to happen is everyone's going out to try and find the vantage point. People are finishing work, they're rushing home as well. People are turning in places where they wouldn't normally turn to get a decent vantage point. So there are more and more incidents, and the busier it's getting, the more and more incidents that happen. It's just the volume of motorcycles and traffic that are on that road at that particular time. So yes, it does have a knock-on effect to us as race organisers and competitors, that it's bright, sunny, it's red hot, you're ready to go. Sorry, there's been a collision at Gorsley or something, and we've got to do an investigation. And we've had it quite recently. Do you know what I mean? The last 2-3 years, I think we had one, didn't we? So, and we were sat there till like 7 o'clock at night, and we were thinking, oh, we're not even going to go here, not going to turn a wheel. But that's the nature of the beast a little bit, really. And the one thing with the one-way system is now that if an incident does happen, I mean, it's shut an hour before anyway, so that shuts an hour earlier than everywhere else on the track. So it's more the incidents on the low half of the circuit that we have issues with rather than on the mountain. So the police still have to do their job. They have to do their investigations, because obviously someone's made a mistake somewhere and caused pain and anguish to somebody else, and that needs to be investigated, doesn't it? And find out who's wrong and who's right. So
one of the most highlighted qualities of the Isle of Man is the open communication, in my opinion. The fact that you can, like, all the organisers, the whole organising team, Gary Thompson, it's the fact that you'll come on the radio and also on the Manx radio to tell everyone who's watching the event to go, we've actually got like a fire truck in Kirkmichael or an ambulance due to a family. It's not like, well, what's going on? People are getting edgy. It's like we're actually going, hold on, there's an incident outside of our control, and people go, all right, especially the riders and the teams go, right.
I mean, ultimate communication's the key, and if that's one thing that we've really worked hard on. And when I was racing, there'd be a delay. They wouldn't even tell you. It'd be like, you'd be ready to go, 10-minute delay. Oh, fuck, stand down again. And they'd be like, ready to go again. No, another 15 minutes. And that, for me, does my head in. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather someone say, right, let's go, everyone stand down for an hour. Let's get it under control. And
come back.
Yeah, and Gary's amazing. He's an ace at that job. Do you know what I mean? So when Gary, obviously, because we were involved before Gary came to the car, of course, me and Paul were involved in that. And when Gary first started, we were saying, Gaz, look, we need to get everyone and tell everyone what's happening, because if you don't tell us, everyone's going to start speculating and telling us to think that and the other, and then especially now.
These are the worst things.
I mean, geez, and 20 years ago they weren't. There was no social media, was there? So that wasn't a problem. Whereas now, there's pointless telling lies, isn't it?
Because they'll just come out.
Yeah. Because people know instantly what's happened and stuff. So you're better off being honest and straight with people and just telling people what it is. Look, there's an incident. There's a barbecue set, a hedge on fire at Kirkmichael. We've got to send a fire truck on it, because that's the thing. incidents and issues happen on the TT course because there's a 40-mile track effectively that don't happen at any other short circuit. You know, you don't get a diesel spillage at Shell Oils, do you? Do you know what I mean? From some scaffolding truck that's just racing to get home before
there was a goose on track.
At Alton Park, there was a session stop this weekend for a goose.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a first.
We have wallabies in the Isle of Man. Honestly, wallabies are a big issue. Peacocks, only 2-3 years ago, we got wild peacocks and they were on the track at Greba.
One of the first episodes we did, me and Chrissy did, and I talked about, tipping in the Greba Castle, peacock on the apex, maybe, literally staring there, looking at me, and I tipped in, and I'm just staring at this peacock.
It is, yeah. I did have often wondered about that. I'd never done any riding on the road until I was much older. I started going away touring with my dad and
he's only 21, by the way.
And the amount of animals you would see that you'd never realise when you're in your car, because you're not concentrating in your car, you just there's music, there's stuff to do, to not be concentrating. And when you're on a bike, it's different, isn't it? I wonder what that must be like when you get
that for me, coming from a road rider perspective, that warned me to those elements. I mean, I've hit ducks, dogs, cats, all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? On motorbikes. Do you know what I mean? Bird strikes are all the time. Because again, whenever I'd go out for quite a fast lap, I'd either go first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and then, of course, they all come wandering out. They think it's midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning, so they start wander out and have a forage on the road, and the next thing is you're squashing them and stuff. So, that makes you a bit more aware as being a road rider when you do go racing on public highway. That you can have a dog that jumps out, and I have this all the time with people that'll come. They'll say, Milky, I went through Carmichael and there's a yellow flag and there was nothing there. I said, yeah, but...
So what?
Yeah, we're not going to say, oh, hang on, here comes Dom, let's put a yellow flag to slow him down.
That's actually happened. I'm joking. I'm joking.
We put, I always say that it's another thing, again, from getting over yellow flags on the short track to the TT course. They're completely different. I always instill into my newcomers, look, if you see a yellow flag, all hell's broken loose. It's not just someone's in the gravel at Gerrard's or something. Do you know what I mean? Miles away from the road, from the track. You could come around the corner. There's a front wheel there. There's an engine there. There's half of the hedge on the floor. There's a paramedic. There's
could be anything.
You have to obey the yellow flags. You can't think, I'm going to lose half a second here. You have to save your life. Do you know what I mean? Because the marshals are the eyes and ears for you for that corner. So they're trying to help. They're trying to save you. They're not doing it just for a laugh. They're wanting to help you, to tell you. So all sorts of shit have gone off here. So it's one of those things that you have to, again, use your noggin. Do you know what I mean? Use your head.
You can tell the top lads proper take that serious as well. Again, that first year, come and watch Dom, not last year, the year before. Just went to watch it Braille because I didn't know where else to go. So I went to watch Braille. And bit of seat foam or seat cowl or something come off Dean Harrison's bike. It was straight out with the flags. And it was offline, in all fairness. And Dunlop was the next bike through and he seen the yellow flag, and I've never seen someone sit up and yellow. He looked like everything. I thought, Jesus Christ, that was immediate. And he proper rolled out of it. Well, obviously would have probably wrecked a bit of his lap, but he obviously didn't care, which is brilliant, isn't it?
No, I mean, it is. It's self-preservation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And you have to, again, from when when Ilian was doing mini motors and pit bikes and stuff, and these are kids of 7, 8, 10 years of age, and someone crashes, yellow flag goes out, the kids don't even shut off. And I'm like, fellas, you need to get on top of this, because that's systemic and going to pass on then through their racing career. They're going to think, I'm not going to slow down for a yellow flag. So I've always instilled into him, if you see a yellow flag, you slow down. No, just you get off it.
The rule is that you be prepared to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the rule, isn't it?
I don't think enough people do that, to be fair, especially on the short track, because they're like, I'm not losing half a second here. I'm going to keep that going. Whereas at least on the road, generally most road riders understand that.
Yeah.
They, but when you've got a lad that's never really done much road riding and comes to the TT, that's where you have to say, listen, fella.
It's very different.
Yeah, steady it away. So,
when you first started racing, do you feel like everyone was more respectful within the rules? Because obviously there wasn't as much communication. I'm not talking 100 years ago, by the way. No, but still, I raised my phone before and said these phones are the worst things that could happen in some ways, because communication arguably should be quicker, and you almost rely on that. So when you were doing early morning practices, there was less numbers. So when you saw a yellow, were you more respective? Not just you. I mean, everyone you were racing with?
I don't know, because you've always got some chance, so haven't you? You've always got someone that wants to have an advantage over somebody else. And I think I don't know. I think everyone, again, I think when you go to do the TT, you know the risks that you're doing, and it's serious shit. Whereas, so generally most people that set off from that start line understand the issues that they're going to encounter, and they've always been told that, or someone's either the mum's told them that, or the dad, or somebody's told them that. Look, just go steady, be sensible. So just don't go like a bull in a china shop. So I don't think that's I don't think it has changed.
I'm just wondering.
I don't think it's changed as much. I mean, yes, the communications are amazing, but that's amazing for us as well now, because obviously the course now. In the old days, it was telephones. Do you know what I mean? There was no line of sight marshal. It was telephones, wasn't it? Oh, there's been an incident. Oh, hang on. Can you hear me? Whereas now it's Tetra. While every marshal's point has Tetra communications with Gary at the clerk of the course in the tower. So when shit does happen, it's instant that they're on it. And it's just. Whereas for me, communications, that's the best thing that's happened. Because I'm the same. I hate bloody phones. I'm proper analog me. I'm useless on the things. So I hate the things, because I know that when it rings, it always means more work for me to do. So I just tend to leave it lying around. But because I'm always busy.
Yes.
I'm busy when I'm not busy. That's when I look at my phone.
Yes.
Before I go to bed, I'll have a look at my phone, read the messages, send some messages, off to bed, bang.
I've just realised. Was your first TT, or your first time? Now, you did the Manx before the TT. That's correct.
Yeah.
Was the first time down Bray Hill for you in the morning practice?
No, it was the Manx Grand Prix, because it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday evening. Then.
That would have been right.
Saturday evening, Manx Grand Prix. 95 was my first Manx Grand Prix.
Let's talk about that. Come on, no.
I really want to.
Let's talk about, you know what? I want to talk about a little bit. Isle of Man lad. Born and bred?
Yeah.
Born and bred. Yeah. This is literally your home turf.
Yeah.
You know the trap. Now, that's one of the biggest stereotypes of people from, your Connor Cummins, your Nathan Harrisons, you know what I mean? Your Mikey Evans. I'm trying to name a handful of riders.
Yeah.
And the first thing they say is, well, you should know it.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. Your first time there.
100%,
talk about it.
100%. I mean, I always, again, working back. So I remember working the pubs, and
bell into the bar, calling you Milky Bar Kid.
Yeah. And then another bell in saying to me, when I entered the Manx Grand Prix, he was like, fucking, if you don't win that, you're a wanker. And that was instant pressure, straight on me then. Literally from that bloke that never raced a motorbike in his life, telling me that if I don't win it, I'm a wanker. So I'm like, I'm going to win this. Yeah. Literally a young 22-year-old lad, I was like, I'm going to win this. I'm going to prove him wrong. Like you do when someone's, I'm going to prove him wrong. So that was it. So the pressure was instantly on that I needed to win the Newcomers Manx Grand Prix. Straight away. Yeah. Literally 6 months before I even set off down Bray Hill. So I had instant pressure on me. And don't get me wrong, I'd won the 400 championship that my first year of racing. I won the 400 Super Sport class at Derby, and it, I had to get in those days to get your TT, to do the TT, you had to ascertain your national license. Now it's still the same now, but you need 18 months and all that. But in the old days, it was literally you had to get. Well, it was when I did it. It was first 10 signatures on your novice license. Yeah. You got 10 signatures on your novice, and then you went onto a restricted license. Now that restricted license worked on points. So if you won a race, you got 3 points or whatever, or 5 points or whatever. So I literally, because I was on it, I've got my license literally within my first year. My first 1994. Me and Paul Dedman, we were away all the time, getting on, and we got our license, our national license. So me and Paul started in '95, both in the same year. That's what our game was. So we both started in '94, and we both wanted to start, do the '95 Manx Grand Prix. So that was it. So I'd got my license in the first year on my RGV4 250, and that was it. Right, okay, so I'm going to do the Manx. So I thought, well, I'm not doing the Manx on an RGV 250. I need a TZ. I've got to have a TZ. So I asked my dad, and my dad said, well, look, son, he says, it's your dream, I'll buy you one. So we went to Clive Paget. I went to Doncaster Road Racing Show. That shows how old it was. Doncaster used to have a road racing show. So I went to Doncaster Road Racing Show. Clive had a stall there. There was a TZ there. It was it was 93 TZ, I think it was. DP, is it DP? DP what do they call them?
And Clive saw you from a countryman. I will sell anything to him, right?
Well, Clive's ace in Egypt, so that was it. So I wanted one. It was there.
And you had it?
Yeah. So I said, I went back to my dad and says, yeah, there's one there. I've got this gentleman's telephone number. There we go. So that was it. So my dad bought it, and I had to pay him back on the never. My dad says, right, okay, it's a loan. You just pay me back £100 a month. Let's just get it paid off.
Yeah.
But to this day, I never paid the poor lad back. But bless him. But
well, that's the end of the interview. I don't trust anymore.
It happens.
So
you too. My dad wouldn't even a chance. I'm telling you now. Carry on anyway.
It was just So that was it. I had a TZ. So the following year, I was like, right, Manx Grand Prix, TZ 250, a proper race bike. Because I love me high corner speed. I love it now. I love fast corners. I love fast corners. I hate shitty Mallory Park and hairpins and all that shit. It's got to be 5th, 6th gear stuff. I love it. I just love that sense of Some lads don't. Some lads like the scratchy bits, don't they? And but hate the fast bits. But for me, it was always fast corners was my forte. I knew I was good for a fast corner, and that's the thing. So that comes from riding the 250 RGV on the road, and just not shutting and fighting it through. So so that was it. So I had a TZ, got the TZ start of the year. That was it. Away you went, and so then
that would be the Manx first.
Yeah, I went to the Manx. Yeah. Well, I went to do the steam packet race
at the Southern
100.
Yeah.
God, that must have been weird.
But I crashed at Bungalow Bridge and broke both my feet. This is 95. I was the RGV. So in 94, I raced my RGV that I used to go to work on. So I got the TZ. I thought, right, not going to race the RGV now. That's pretty much it. Going to stick that. I want to concentrate on the TZ. But again, because I still wanted to plenty of racing, like you do, I thought I'll enter both classes at Derby, so I'd ride the 400 as well as the 250 in the open class. So it came to TT, and I was entered for the steam packet race. That was going to be my first road race. Was going to be around the Southern Under course, steam packet race after the TT. I thought, right, that'll do. Again, it's my local track. I used to bomb round on a Sunday around the Southern Under course, flat out on open roads. And
it's is it 6 miles? It's
4 miles, 4.25 miles.
No wonder I'm slow. I had 2 miles. No, but it's sort of small lap anyway. It's a proper road race.
Yeah, short lap. It's mental. It's like proper bonkers.
It's class.
It is. I've got a real love-hate relationship with the Southern 100. I love it. But I never had any luck there. I always either used to crash or blow up.
But it's mad because it's actually quite a short. It's definitely not short circuit. You know what I mean? It's a proper road race, but I mean some elements are very scratchy. Hard brake, first gear turn.
It's got to ride it hard. It's basically 4 hairpins.
Right.
That's all it is.
But then you go
this is where I came to watch you on the classic.
Yeah, it would have been on the classic. But then you've got the bomb hole, and then you've got going through Church Bend, and it's just you hold your breath and you straight.
When you're doing it, it's it's ace. But then
it's a mass start jobby, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit dodged, like when you're following through Williams's like that. Unfortunately, I loved it until a lad got killed there called Mark McDonald.
Right.
And I knew Mark obviously because he was at the Manx Grand Prix the same time as me.
Yeah. And
then he was involved in a multi-bike crash. There was about 8 or 9 bikes down at Williams's. Richard Britton crashed there. Gavin Lee crashed there. Yeah. It was horrendous. Decker Kelly, it was, and that did it for me. Then I was like, no, I fell out of love with a little bit with that after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, getting back to the steam packet race. So I had the RGV, I had all the road fairings like you do that I took off this immaculate when it was new. I put all the fairings up in the loft.
Bubble wrapped up.
Yeah. It came to Mad Sunday. 1994, 95. I thought I'm gonna fucking that was my day. I'd do like 12 laps normally on a Mad Sunday. Just literally go all the way around. Just keep circulating round and round and round all day. So I was thinking I was on about my 9th lap, and I just passed a fella coming out of the veranda, and I came down to change down to coming down into Bungalow Bridge from 6th to 5th, and the gearbox locked on me, just spat me straight over the high side. It was a fast old get off. It was pretty fast.
So that is quick.
Yeah, and then both my feet smacked the ground, bust both my feet. But the trouble was I had no tax, no insurance. Literally, because
crawling into the heather.
Yeah, because it was my race bike.
You just put some fairings on.
Yeah. So I didn't have the money to thing. So Yeah, oh, sorry, officers. Well, I guess I did have town stacks and shoes, I think, but yeah. So
We'll edit that.
Yeah. But there's a little note there as well. Always have plastic number plates on, number plate screws. So when you rip the number plate off, they snap. There's a metal one holds a number plate because I crashed my bike. I got up, my feet were like, I knew I'd broken both, done something on my feet. So I hobbled to the side.
Specifically, was it your heels? So obviously in the high
No,
side.
it was my toes.
Oh,
toes, toes.
So you didn't make it to the.
Well,
no, sorry.
So this was Mad Sunday, right? This is Mad Sunday. This is Mad Sunday. I'd smashed my RGV up to bits, right? So I get up. The bike smashed smithereens, just barrel rolled it, smashed to bits. It was in pride and joy. I was like, oh, fuck, that's fuck. So I thought, last thing I want to do is get done for no tax and get done as well. So runs over, rips my number plate off, throws it over down the hillside. I thought, I don't want them to trace the bike and come back to me. So I froze the number plate down the hillside. The fellow had stopped. He helped me push the bike to the side, so we got it off the road so it was clear. So I'm thinking, right, I've got 2 or 3 minutes before the police come here. I need to get out of here. So literally, we got the bike thrown against the hedge. It was safe, kicked all the rubble off it. I just got on his bike and he says, where do you want to go? I says, just get out of here. Just get out of here. So I'm fucking on the bike. I'm all blood coming out my shoulders.
Toes are broken.
Yeah, toes are broken. I'm just sat there going, oh no, what have I done? I've done it again. Sat there. So we're going down and we get to the Cregner Bar. So I thought to myself, right, the next place that they'd stop us, because obviously Cregner Bar goes 2-way. I thought they're going to clock us there, and that's where we're going to get done. That's where he's going to. Yeah, you just crashed your motorbike. So I literally curled up as close as I could behind this fella, so that they couldn't see a fella with a black set of leathers and a black arrow or whatever. So he goes down the road, gets through with that, and he gets down to the Grand State. He said, "Well, where do you want to go?" I said, "Well, I live down south, down by Southern 100." I said, "I'm going to go and get my van." I said, "And hopefully my bike will be there, and I'll throw it in." And he says, "Well, I'll take you down there if you want." This is the power of motorbikers, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Didn't know him from Adam, and so I says, "All right, okay, yeah." So, so he sets off. He takes me all the way down home, gets to my house.
That's only 30 miles, by the way.
Yeah,
just put that out there.
Yeah, not far, no, man. So he gets down there. He says, "What are you doing now?" I says, "Well, I'm going to get my tranny. I'm going to." That's not a transit van.
Ford
that is yeah. Not today's.
Ford Transit is the slang. I'm going to get hate for that.
In today's world, we're all pretty correct. A tranny isn't a tranny; it's a transit van. So
Bobby,
yeah.
He's 6 foot. Where's he?
So
do us a hand, Bobby.
Yeah.
Pick that bike up. Sorry.
So I get in the house. Lucky enough, my mum and dad were out. Well, no, my mum wasn't alive, unfortunately. My mum passed away by then, but my dad wasn't there. So I was like, right, I just need to get changed, get out my leathers. So, but the worst thing I did is took my boots off. Feet just went poof. Literally just swelled
you
up.
Couldn't drive the van then.
Well, so he says, right, he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just going to go and get it." So he hobbles into the van, jumps in it, and again, putting the clutch down. I was in agony. Mad Sunday as well. Remember, it's Mad Sunday afternoon, busy as.
On and off.
So I'm driving around thinking, I just hope my bike's still there. And I drove all the way around the TT course, like you say, it was mental. Gets stops, gets out of the van, pulls my plank out. The fella stops, gives me a hand. I literally dragged the bike in, we threw it in the back of the van. He shuts the door, drove off, and that was it. Job done. So I had my bike recovered because I was there off expecting it not to be there.
Yeah.
So I had it smashed to bits in the back of the van. I thought, right, what I'm going to do now? I'm going to have to go to casualty, aren't I? So I had to go to casualty. So I thought, right, shit, I'm going to go to casualty. How am I going to get this story right? I can't just say that I've fallen off on the mountain because they'll trace me and get me done. And so I was like, no, I need to just make up a story. So I was like, right, fell off a moped. So that was it. So I just said, it went in to casualty and says, yeah, I've just fallen off a moped. I'm like, all right, okay, let's see. So they bandage me up and they says, right, okay, give me crutches and all that shit. So they says, are you going to get something? Yeah, I've got someone to come and pick me up. Went straight outside in the transit van. Just drove home. But so that was that. So that was on the Sunday, and I was supposed to be doing the steam pack up then on the Saturday. At Blount.
Yeah.
That was my first ever road race. Well, it wasn't me. It wasn't my first road race because I'd done Derby Road. I'd done Derby Road in the May. I'd done JB Road in the
What's
May.
that? Is that
It doesn't exist anymore.
exist anymore.
Right.
They tried to bring it back actually.
Yeah.
But it never.
what is it? A road around?
Yeah, rode around pretty much around the Derby airfield,
Right.
just along the bottom perimeter of the Derby airfield. That was like a big triangle, a bit like a smaller Northwest 200.
Right.
So
Now, when you did your first, so leading up to this bit, were they? Because you used to do a 700, and it was actually classed as a TT win.
yeah.
At one point in history, I can't remember what year that stopped.
that was about 2008,
Oh, I'm testing him here.
9, something like that. Because when we finished the 2 strokes on the TT course,
And what year?
2 strokes went down to 700 then.
And it was still classed as a TT.
Because
And Locker.
Palmy as well. Because
Yeah,
Palmer,
yeah.
he won like 3 TTs down on the 700 course.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
a bit like, I suppose, but still classed as a TT win because it's a bit like the Clips course or the,
Yeah.
you know, the mountain, the
it's-
St John's course.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so technically it's still a TT win because it was
Right.
under the TT banner, I suppose. So,
And this, and what year was this when you smashed your feet up?
this was 95.
So, you know, in
Yeah.
theory, you're sitting here revved up thinking, I'm going to the Isle of Man here. I could get in theory, a TT win at your first time here.
Well, yeah.
Oh, this is a different time. This was straight after the TT.
Yeah, this
so
is-
that
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
the
yeah.
Southern, which is...
No, which is in the July. This was literally straight on the
That's right,
Saturday,
yeah, sorry.
the Saturday
Yeah.
after. So the steam packet race used to be there for when obviously everyone was over TT and no one could get back on the boat together. So
Have a race.
George Peach down at the Southern 100, he thought, oh yeah, we could put an event on here, keep the spectators entertained, and it was mega for that. You know,
So
George
it
was a
only-
lovely lad, and you know he's. Because the Southern 100, they call it the friendly races. Do you know what I mean? The boys down
Phenomenal.
there, they're mega. Do you know what I mean? They're all dead good bunch of lads. They just, again, they love all bike riders and races and stuff. So, you know,
I don't mean to offend the TT race here, and I'm going to lose my seat here, I'm telling you now, but I have never seen a more traditional organised race in my life. If you go to the 700, it will write on scrutineering like 10:05. And scrutineering will open at 10:05, and you will be on the road at X and Y. It's on paper. It's literally on paper, and it's like it's not phoned in or nothing like that. It's just like bang, and you're like through your gate, off you go down the road. It was just it's mental.
It is, but again, it's like a bit like here, you know, because it's a small track, it's controllable.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So you've only got 4 miles to jurisdict rather than 40 miles. So
Yes.
Which is just a different beast, isn't it?
Yeah. It's slick. They run it good. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Brilliant.
the nostalgia of it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? So So
You're
getting back to So smashing feet. So at the time again, I didn't have the time off work, so I was working for Terry Teese at the time, Westminster Motors.
and what?
And Terry Teese used to sponsor Joey Dunlop. He sponsored Joey Dunlop on the Air Mackie.
Right.
So Terry's into his motorbikes, loves his motorbikes. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, obviously, I let the lad down because I'd smashed both my feet. I couldn't go to work. So I'm like, oh, sorry, I had to ring in sick. And he's like, oh, he must have thought, oh, God, here we go, another one, wanting TT week off. But I'd genuinely smashed my feet to bits. So, and I was like, oh, God. So, again, I couldn't work that time in the glue pot either. So I had to ring up there and say, I'm sorry, I can't thing. So all week I was trying to get my feet right, you know, fucking icing them flat out. So it comes to the Saturday morning of signing on for the steam packet race, and I goes down to sign on, and I fill myself full of painkillers, literally 4 painkillers, deep heat and all sorts, PR spray on my feet just so I could walk. And they're like, oh, we heard that you broke both your legs, you know, like the thing through the. I says, no, I did nothing. I just sprained me ankle. I says, I'm all right. And they're like, oh, that's okay then. So that was it. So I managed to get to do me first ever steam packet race in '95. And my claim to fame was I didn't get lapped by Joey, because that's what I wanted to make sure I didn't get lapped by Joey, because Joey was the man on the 250 down there at the time. So and I didn't get lapped. So I was like, yeah, that was a result. I'll take that as a result. So so that was me. That was my first run at the thing.
Sorry, I'm terrible for that.
So that was that. So then my goal then was obviously the Manx Grand Prix.
Yes.
And that was my goal. And again, lots of people were pressured, not putting smoke up my ass, but they were saying, oh, you'll win that. And I was like, I don't need this. That's why, again, I don't like that pressure of, as a Manx local lad, you're expected to win, or you used to be expected to win the newcomers race. It was like, right, you've got to win it. You know where you go, and you're expected, like you were saying before.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, local knowledge.
Yeah, you're expected to win it. Which, yes, at the Manx Grand Prix, I think you do have an advantage over that. You know, you do literally have an advantage at it. But when it comes to the TT, when everyone the level's so much higher, and everyone knows the track just as well as I do, and everybody else does, you know, that's irrelevant. You know, because I think if that was the case, then per capita, I think the Isle of Man really shoots above its weight. The quality of riders that ride the TT, the amount of Manx riders that have done the TT over the years. I think if you looked at who, you know, the nationalities of who have done the TT, obviously England's going to be the most, but the Isle of Man will probably be the next biggest, you know, country that's ever had riders around the TT course, because it's part of our DNA. It's, you know,
but you don't have that many. That's you know what I mean. You know, when you look at the grid, there's obviously a few, but in theory, I know what you're saying. But you think it's the capital of motorsport in the world. You know what I mean. You're literally born and bred on it. You know what I mean. You go in every pub, you see it on the walls. It's class. It's like for us, Josh. It's home away from home. You walk in, it's phenomenal. If you like two wheels, it is the place to be. But
I think the trouble is on the Isle of Man, I think people don't realise how big it is. If you're not into that, then it's like, oh yeah, it's just a motorbike race, isn't it? Well, the general person on the street, the layman on the street, doesn't understand how big.
I got 7 miles.
And how big an event it is. Like, it's a worldwide event. I mean, that's the thing now. That's the beat of it now. It's gone literally global now. It is literally with our phones and, you know, things now. It's people in America, China, India. They love it. Australia, they love it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it always used to predominantly be a Northern English sort of thing. You know, everybody in Northern England knew about the TT, would go there every week, you know, every year. Whereas now it's people from America, people from Australia, people from New Zealand.
Oh, well, you go anywhere in the world and say you race motorbikes or something. Oh, did you do the TT? They know what it is, don't they? They generally do.
I mean, it is, as a rider, it's the best. You know, don't get me wrong, it is insanely dangerous. But riding around here is insanely dangerous. You know, I would never ride any different than I would here than I would on TT. I wouldn't take my brain out and go, you know, I never like crashing. I didn't want to hurt myself. One, it also cost me money as well. So I never rode, you know, and it's the same on the TT. I never looked at a lamppost or a pillar box or a house here because I didn't want to crash. So I was just, you know, I was staying in the parameters of the road, and that's what I wanted to be. You know, that's so. As long as you approach it that way, then, you know, you're approaching it the right way. I think, you know, it's.
Now, with that attitude, how did you go about telling your dad? And now you briefly talked about you lost your mum.
Yeah, well, I think that was the pivotal thing for me when my mum passed away.
If you don't mind me asking, how did she pass away? Like...
she had a brain hemorrhage, I think it was.
Oh,
it was a quick one like that. So all my mum had lived for was me and my brother. Do you know what I mean? So when my mum died, and it was, I thought, you know what, I'm going to live my life the way, because if my mum was alive now, bless her, she'd never let me even, like, she let me have a little motocross bike when my dad convinced me that when I got to high school, I was like, that was when I got my first bike, was when I went to high school. So I wasn't allowed a motorbike up to then. So at 13 years of age, I got my motorbike, you know, and that was as far as it was going to go. It was never going any further. But then my mum passed away, and that was it then. So then I thought, you know what, sod this. I'm going to live my life the way, what I want to do with it. You know what I mean?
Good man.
That's it. That's why, you know, so that's how it all came about, like you say. So,
but then
my dad loved motorbikes, and again, my dad, again, a bit like me and him, you know, I've got him involved in it, and my dad was culprit really, so he couldn't really say no, you can't do it. So that was it. So, you know, that was always going to happen. So my dad was always 100%, like your dads are, you know what I mean? Motorbike racing dad, you know, bike dads are, you know, they're 100% behind you, aren't they? Yeah, 100% behind you.
Mine's still running around here.
Yeah.
It's wiping up after us.
Yeah. It's what you do, and you'll be the same. You know, you're a little fella. You know what I mean? You'll be straight on. You know, you do everything. You jump in front of the track for your kids, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was dead fortunate. My dad was like 100% behind me. 100%. He didn't want me to do it effectively, but
that was going to be
yeah. But he was 100% behind me. It was my decision. I was a man then, and that was it. Right. So that was it.
So if you go in, then he's going to support you.
Like, 100%. Try and help me out as much as he could. You know. So
did you do any other road? Sorry that I don't know the answer to this question, but did you do like Northwest?
Yeah, Northwest. I did the Northwest and stuff. I used to love the Northwest and all. So
was that before the chicanes though?
Yes, yeah,
I like
it was.
he literally looked down. By the way,
yeah,
to our audio listeners, he literally went, yeah, before the chicanes.
Well, that was when it was proper. It was
Why
proper.
you 2 strokes flat stick?
No, Mathers was ace. Mathers was ace.
And by the way, before we get...
there was no McAvoy chicane, there was no Mill Road. It was proper decent. It was proper.
And before
ace.
we get bollock from the haters from the north, like, it's because of safety that they put them in. So we're not having a go at the northwest.
Which one's Mill Road again?
The Mill Road's the first one after York.
Did that used to not be around?
Yeah,
Imagine tipping in that in the station, and you've done the northwest. So you come round York first,
left flick. It was beautiful.
Oh, so you went round the actual roundabout the right way.
You went to the left of the roundabout and over the. It was honestly, it was mint.
I think that roundabout's the worst one on the track, actually.
Well, again,
I don't mind the chicanes. Actually, I quite enjoyed them. I didn't mind them.
Imagine being him and not doing them.
I think if you'd done them, to go back would be.
Yeah. I did it. The first year I did it, there was out the chicanes, and then the following year they instrumented the chicanes at Mill Road and McAvoy, and then Donnie Robinson got killed at Mill Road, and you were like, boys, you're trying to slow it. I understand. Chicanes are there to slow you down. I understand that, but you've put something in there. For me, that should be taken straight out again. Do you know what I mean? But it was what it was, and then I always remember that first year they put them on. It was a Thursday night of qualifying. I was on a Fireblade that I'd bought, smashed up. That's another story altogether that I bought from a lad that had crashed it at Cronkavody on the road.
And then, you got a bike back from that crash.
Yeah. Well, there was, this is going on to 97. So in 97, I wanted a production bike to do the production TT. Because you could do the production TT then and still do the Manx Grand Prix. So,
right.
Yeah, you could do that.
You cheating son of a...
Yeah. It was ace. It was amazing.
And it's not the rule now, because I'm right in thinking that the history of the Manx is that you had to not be a professional to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. There was it was an unwritten rule, really, a gentleman's agreement that once you won it, you moved on to the TT. And in the old days, it was that pretty much. It was like the amateur TT, and you got like the likes of Jeff Dukes and stuff that come up through it, the Philip McCallans, and and then you moved then on to the TT. But
it's not written though, is it? It's not a written rule. It's not. No,
that's
a lot of people think. Oh, right.
Oh, it's just more.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I think was the first person who didn't do it. I think it was Dan Sale.
Right.
I think you need to ask him that, but I'm sure Dan Sale won the 250 race
and then back,
because there was no 250 race then at the TT to go to or something. And so he went back and he won the Manx again. Then I think it was Dan. It was thing, but it was literally an unwritten rule that if you won the Manx Grand Prix, you went to the TT, which is the way it should be. It's a bit like you've got the Championship League and then you've got then into your Premiership, that's the natural way it needs to go.
But you can go straight to the TT if
if you're good enough, and
and there's a lot of factors to determine.
That. Like Josh Brooks and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Josh Brooks was never going to have to go and do the Manx Grand Prix and then come to the TT, and so your caliber of rider, obviously instruments to like Barry Burrell, for instance. Barry's doing the TT this year. He's one of the newcomers, going to be heading off down Braille in a couple of weeks.
I'm buzzing for Barry. I'm very jealous, but I'm also buzzing for him.
Yeah.
Is there ever? Did Connor Cummins do the Manx?
No, me and Paul again. Because of Connor was doing the
British.
Yeah, and it was like, again, I didn't want him to go down the rabbit hole that I did getting back to me 95, I ended up writing myself off. So second night of practice, I broke Philip McCallan's lap record. Fourth night of practice, I ended up down the mountain. It broke me hip, me femur in 3 places, me arm.
So the Milky's Corner wasn't your first TT?
No.
Oh, this the plot thickens. By the way, he has a corner after him.
No. Well, So let's go back to 95.
Damn right, we're going back to 95.
So I had me TZ. So goes to the Manx Grand Prix. Like I say, I thought, right, I'm in for a good chance here. I started number 100. I was number 100 on the plate. I don't know, I got pictures somewhere.
They used to add Scaffy at the end of the... No, because they had the scout board, you know what I mean? And obviously everyone had their number and they used to peel off your, it was like paper, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Peel off your number, but they used to add Scaffy on the end, wooden Scaffy for the numbers. It was all like max number, was it?
Yeah.
So you were number 100?
I was number 100.
On a 400?
On my TZ 250.
Ah, right.
That's class.
So that I'd been racing all that year.
Right, so you were on it? Like...
Yeah, I was pretty confident, to be fair. I thought, I'm going to give this a good go, Joe. And again, it was the worst thing I found. I don't know about you, Don, but the first year you ever do it was the Friday night before the event I shit me pants. I literally, it was my dream. It was my lifelong dream to do it. And Friday night before, I wasn't worried about hurting myself. I was worried about being shit. I thought if I go out there, it's my lifelong dream. I go out, go around at 80 mile an hour lap, and I've tried my best. I'll be devastated. It'd be like, shit.
And what do I do now?
Yeah. It'd be like, fuck that. So it was like, I need to, I need to do a job here. I need to, because you don't know how fast you think in your head. You think, I can do a 120 mile an hour lap, but you can't. You know what I mean? So you're thinking, I can do this, I can do that. You can't. So
okay. What did you want to do for your first lap? You're sitting there, you're talking about this. You had a goal for your first lap. What would that be? Just spit it out. Go for it.
Well,
100?
Yeah, I thought I need to do 100 mile an hour
for your first night.
Yeah, first night.
Which is
quick
as fuck for your first lap.
Yeah, especially on the 250 at the time. It was like, I thought if I get near 100, I'll be happy, which I did on the first night. I did.
That was the next question. Yeah.
So that was it. But then, so I did. That night I was shitting bricks. It was like, oh, no,
fucking hell, what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? And then I was really looking forward to going down Bray Hill because I'd been fast over the mountain, obviously, and through places that haven't got many people in, when the roads are open. But like places like Kirkmichael and through the grandstand, I'd never been through balls out. It had always been like maybe 60. Maybe. Yeah. A little bit faster than what
a little bit cheeky.
Yeah. But not full racing speed.
No.
So
and not on the other side of the road.
Yeah. 100%. So it was like, oh shit, how am I going to deal with that? But it was good because I was so surreal. The first, Dom, you always remember your first lap of the TT course, and
I remember 72 mile an hour.
Yeah. But what I mean
it felt like 150.
The feeling of it though, because I remember going through Crosby. Now, I remember always going through Crosby Crossroads. There used to be a policeman that stood on the crossroads, obviously stopping people coming through. And because there used to be quite a lot of police presence around the TT course, there's not now. There's more marshal presence than the police. Once they close the road, they disappear to do their other jobs. Yeah. Whereas in the old days, there was always a policeman at pretty much most marshal points as well. And I remember going past there, the first lap, flat out on my TZ, and thinking, fuck, there's a policeman watching me, whereas normally they'd be chasing me, and he was watching me, and I was like, fuck, that's mental, innit? It's mental. I'm going for a 30 mile an hour speed limit on a TZ at 130 odd mile an hour, and he's watching me. It's like, it was, for me, that was like, fuck, this is amazing. And that's the trouble with the TT. It gets you giddy because it is so fantastic. It's the best thing. It's the best place you could ever want to ride your motorbike is around the TT course. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it can get you too giddy. That's the trouble. You've got to control your emotions and your aggression, and you've just got to give it respect. That's the biggest thing you've got. As long as you treat it with respect, she'll be fine to you. But the minute you start to get a bit cheeky and
push it on a bit,
get a bit greedy, then she's going to bite you. So it's just always about giving it respect. So that first night was amazing. It was mint, absolutely brilliant. It was like, love my dream. It's fantastic. And then I went fast as well. I was like first in class because, again, the field then was quite a broad field. Like for the 250s, it was a competitive class. It was a good fast class. There was three or four of us that were really fast that year, like really fast. I think they've all been killed in that since. But yeah, there was 3 or 4 of us that were really fast. I can't think of the names now. But yeah, we were all faster. So the second night, I thought, right, I've got my iron now. I can properly get on it. Well,
I can have a go. Let
a bit more of a go. So I did 107 mile an hour. Poof, bang. Philip McCallum had the lap record then at 106. I smashed the lap record. Poof, there you go. Second night practice. Way. There we go. Have it. And that was it then. So I'd gone from nobody really knowing me to then people going, fuck, who was this?
Lap record.
And then it was, that was when the pressure was on then. The pressure was instantly on my shoulders. And I'm thinking, I'm only cruising. I was cruising. I was like, whoa, this is ace. This is cool, this.
Yeah.
And then we had some technical issues, but TZ seizing up. And
obviously.
So it seized up on the Tuesday. Seized up the Tuesday coming to Ballaugh. So That was that. And then in those days, you had a morning practice on the Wednesday morning.
God, I wish I'd done one. I'd love to do
Oh,
one.
mate, the morning practice
You know
was
what?
surreal.
Gary Thompson threatens that every year, and everyone's face drops, and I'm like, please, I would look like, you know what? The history behind it.
Yeah.
Will that ever happen?
No. To be fair though, Dom, it was the track conditions aren't right.
No, of course not, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Milky, don't take your safety head off, mate.
Yeah,
You've done something.
No.
People won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That won't happen.
No, I can't. I don't think so myself. Purely for the fact that it was the track temperature was
Too low.
Tyres now are so temperature dependent. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in the old days, your 364s you could ride in the wet, the dry, the red hot, the cold. They performed amazing and everything.
There's no way you'd get me out at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's because you're a shite bag.
I mean,
Not a chance.
I mean, I've been sat there at 5 o'clock in the morning in the dark, and you sat there. We're all lined up in the road, and they're like, "We can't go yet. It's not light enough." Honestly, over the tannoy, the old clock on the course. Yeah, okay, we can't. We'll have to give it another 10 minutes. It's still too dark, and then it would literally like someone's flicking that switch on, and it'd be like, right, okay, we get going now. Right, everyone start up. This was days before tyre warmers and everything, and that was it. Then and you would go, and
Wow.
but there's
No tyre warmers.
no. It was honestly, but it was amazing. The morning practice were beautiful, absolutely fantastic.
I can imagine going over the mountain at that time in the morning would be like
It's
unreal.
just honestly though, everywhere going through Kurt Michael, there's no one there. It was literally. That was probably the dodgy bit with it, you see. Whereas now, obviously, we need 600 and something odd marshals before we can even start practice.
Is that many?
Yeah.
It used to be. The numbers getting higher because obviously the risks are getting like we're not the risks,
Jesus.
but things are moving on. And everything's
more
getting
and more
quicker.
marshal posts and stuff. Yeah,
You need more.
Yeah.
You need more.
So the minimum marshal level, I think it's like 630, 40 people as volunteers before we can start any practice, any race, anything like that. I mean, come TT time, that's not a problem. You'll get 1,800 marshals on a race day.
Yeah,
TT
race
week.
days
Yeah.
seems like this is made from.
You would never turn down marshals then, basically, just the more the better.
Yeah, but you still need to know what you're doing. You have to go ascertain the training courses and stuff.
Yeah,
You know
so
what I mean?
you've got to be qualified.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's,
But
there's not a cap, essentially.
no. If the more the merrier. If I'd rather have more marshals. I'd rather there be more marshals at a marshal point than not enough. You know what I mean?
100%.
So, but yeah. So in those days, people would say, "Yeah, are you going to come tomorrow, John?" "Oh yeah, I'll be up." They'd go down the town, have 10 pints of lager, pull a bird, and like, I'm not going up the mountain. I saw that. I'm going to get on with this. Do you know what I mean? So
Get on with it.
so
Duty calls.
Yeah, exactly. So they would never, so people would say, "Yeah, I'll be there," but so when they'd start the race, they'd start the practice, and there might be one marshal at marshal post. It was so dodge,
Right.
So going from your 300 marshals that you used to have, there would probably only be 100 marshals around the circuit because there was no restrictions then. There was no minimum marshal levels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like, as long as someone's there, we'll be all right. We can set you off.
When did they stop doing two strokes at the TT?
Well,
Yeah, that was the same time when they went to the Sun 100. You see, so I think it was about. I don't know whether it was. I think it was A8, maybe a little bit sooner before that. Maybe.
Well, the Super Twins were starting to really properly take off, and obviously it was like the stock Super Twins that were just drowning out the. See, the lightweight was combined for a little bit, wasn't it? You could race the 250 with the ER6s and stuff, it was like SV650s. I'm trying to remember what year.
05.
Would have been around about that.
05, 06. It was definitely after 06, and I don't think it was a centenary year. So I think it might have been 08, 09, something like that.
Oh, really? That late?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, just when the 250, because 250s were 250s are hard enough to keep. I mean, it's like the classic TT. 250s were hard enough to keep going in the 90s when I was doing it. Do you know what I mean? You'd finish a practice session, you go straight to Dennis Trollope or Clive with a big shopping list of pistons, rings, big ends. Yeah. And there would be people. We'd be literally queuing at the back of Dennis's and Clive's, buying 250 bits. Do you know what I mean? And then going to rebuild them. So now, Jesus, to run a 250. A 4DP.
I just look.
CZ. It's telephone numbers. It's like more than bloody number Fireblade. I mean, it's just cranks and it's just mental money.
My sort of like what I associate the TT with is I've got the video from 2000, and I used to just watch from being like 3 years old. That's all I ever watched on repeat. So I feel like I know loads about stuff, but only from that video. So if it happened in there, but there was still Road 125s then, didn't there?
Yeah.
If there was one thing I could do before I die, it would be to ride a Honda 125 that raced here round there. I just wouldn't want to race it.
Well, the Grom's a 125 Honda.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Yeah,
I made
you don't want a 125, you want a 250.
Oh, it would be amazing. But
yeah, the 250 is.
I've never ridden a 250.
Hizzy always said the best motorbike to ride around the TT course would be a super fast 250.
Yeah.
I mean, they are phenomenal. They're on point. They turn where you want it. They brake. They stop.
And they've got a bit of power.
Yeah, they're awesome things. You know, your 2-strokes. I mean, I'm a 2-stroke man through and through, and I love this. There's just the smell of it again. Going back to the morning practices, there'd be just a haze of blue smoke. And it was phenomenal. And you always knew when you were catching someone because you'd be going through the clouds and you'd be smelling someone in front of you. Oh, I'm catching him, and it'd be before you know it, you're onto him.
Yeah.
And it was just the morning practices, 2-strokes. Yes, I mean, history's got its place, but it should never stand in the way of now, I don't think.
No, 100%.
Yeah, you can't, it's, because people say a lot of things, they say, oh, you should bring back the 250s, and like, that's that time, we've had that time. It's a bit like, your Manx.
People also look back with rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, of course they do.
They're fucking aggro, let's be honest.
Yeah. So,
as lovely as they are.
Yeah. So, they are... The 2-stroke and a 250 around the TT course, like I say, is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And hopefully now with the classic TT coming back again, when like what Bruce did 120 mile an hour on that thing of Clive's. Do you know what I mean? Was just amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's just that shows you. I mean, the bikes haven't really advanced that much either, to be fair. No. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
So maybe tyres a little bit?
Well, the track's changed a little bit as well. Track's a bit faster than it used to be.
Right, okay.
So the tracks, with Brandish used to be a 3rd gear corner. Now it's like 5th, 6th gear corner now.
Right.
Yeah, so that's probably taken 10, 12 seconds off a lap time. Governor's Bridge.
This was years ago when they changed that, by the way. Like, it was like 2nd gear corner.
Yeah, 3rd gear corner. You had to scrub all your speed off to then build it back up then for Hilbury, you see. So whereas now you can just roll straight through it. I call that the Carlsberg corner. I say that to all my newcomers. This is the Carlsberg corner, because if remember that it was about 10 years ago there was an advert for Carlsberg. Like Claudia Schiffer would be your girlfriend. If Carlsberg made girlfriends, it's Claudia Schiffer. And I call that the Carlsberg corner because it is class. It's a beautiful late apex 5th gear late apex corner.
So and how many? Sorry, because I'm desperate to ask you about the newcomer stuff as well. But obviously you're famous for lots of reasons for winning TTs and stuff. But there's obviously a very famous part of the Isle of Man, I guess, part of the TT history of your accident.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing videos of it and stuff. But how many TTs had you done up until then?
Till my accident, well, I started in 95 was the first time I went on the TT course, and then the accident was 2003, so I was only 8 years really, so it was only quite short. Do you know what I mean? But I was lucky that every race I ever started, I always won a replica. I never, I always won a replica.
Yeah.
I always just wanted to fucking win it. Do you know what I mean? It was like, that was my thing. I mean, I went to the TT podcast with Michael this week, and Michael's on the stage, and like they were asking him about you've done the record now, is that it, and all this, that, and he's like, no, he says, I just want to win. I just want to win, and that was my thing really. Michael shot me a little bit actually, because he goes, he says, I don't really like riding motorbikes. I just like the winning. This is what he likes, and don't get me wrong, I love the winning, but I still love riding motorbike. For me, riding a motorbike is the best. It's the best feeling in the world. Even when I ride my Pan-European, I'll jump back on my Pan-European tomorrow when I go home, and I love it. I ride my scooter, I love it. I love that feeling of riding a motorbike, and it's just a feeling of freedom, innit? It's just the best.
Do you get many closed road laps?
Yeah, I'm lucky that, again, the best thing about my job,
one of his jobs, by the way.
Yeah, one of many. For the last 20 years has been, I've always been able to, every year I've got 2 or 3, 4 or 5 laps every year, doing the media stuff, doing the newcomers stuff. So it's ace. Even though I've retired, I've always rode every year since 95 effectively. Yeah. So it's
on like a road bike or something.
I've always been supplied with the Travelland's Marshall's bike or the press bike or something, and I've rode all sorts of odd things around there. Do you know what I mean? And it scratches the itch a little bit because you haven't got the pressure of racing, but you're getting the fun of riding.
on a closed road. Yeah, you can do what you want.
It's every lap you do around the TT course. Like even as I did something for Netflix last year on a BMW, and it was just before the senior TT. It was all like loads of cameras and stuff on it, and there was like 20 cameras all on it, and it was just a big sit up and beg thing, and she was loose, you know what I mean? But it was just I have to pinch myself and think, oh my god, this is the best. Just riding on a closed road, because for me, I don't know about you, Dom, but what I loved about the TT was the fact that it was like my own track. I was never on all for your career when you've done schoolboy motocross or pit bikes or motocross, or you're always with 20 or 30 other lads on the line. You're coming at the corner, there's always someone trying to knock you off and get up the inside of you. And it's always busy, and it's always someone in front of you, someone behind you, and you're chasing it on. Whereas the TT, you're on your own. Yeah. That is the most magical thing for me. I love that feeling of
just
me and the course. I'm not racing you, him, her. Today's political world. I'm racing the circuit. That's what I want to beat. That's what I need to be. And that's what I loved about the TT course, was the fact that I was challenging myself against Balagary. I was challenging myself against Greba Castle.
Yeah.
You know, I needed to nail those corners, hit my apex. I get that right. And
you know, when you took this challenge on, so in your first year in 1995, what meant more to you? Your first win or breaking that lap record?
I was always win. Always a win. Records are...
I know, but in your first year, you broke that lap record. That must have been like...
Oh, no, that was mega. It was mega, but it was...
You win
the goal was always to win it. Yeah, the goal was always to win it.
So 1995...
Because, again, I didn't want... some lads will want to just win the Manx Grand Prix and go, that's it. I can put the trophy on the mantelpiece. That'll do me. That was, for me... The Manx Grand Prix was to do that and then on to the TT. The TT was always my dream. That was always my goal, was like, that's what I wanted. That's where I wanted to get to. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
You did the Manx 1 year, 1995.
Well, no, 95. So, I didn't actually race in 95 because I broke myself. So, I crashed on the... So
the first time I didn't get a bronze replica, by the way.
Yeah.
Or silver or gold.
Technically, I didn't qualify for it because I didn't start a race, so I don't claim that one. But yeah, I'd on the Tuesday, so I'd seized up on Tuesday at the Ballaugh Bridge. So I lived down the Southern Undercourse. So by the time my dad come to get me in the transit van, it was like dark, 11 o'clock at night. We got the bike back then from there, back down to Colby where I lived, in the top of bloody Ballyculferrick, top of the sticks. Got out of the van, worked on it overnight, pulled the barrel off it, new piston on it, rings, all that sorted, get it done. Then it was morning practice, so we had to be up at 3:30 to get to Scrutineering, to get through Scrutineering to then get on the road for the road to open at 5:30. So I didn't even bother going to bed. I was like, fuck that, I'm not going to bed. By the time I'd finished in the garage, it was 2:30, so I was like, I'll just clean the van a little bit and then to set off. So goes there. I jetted it really rich. I thought I don't want it to seize again because I was unsure what was going on wrong. So I was like, I'll just run it rich. So goes out.
She was.
The amount of man logic involved in this phenomenon. It's like that. Yeah, I'll be fine now. Put a different needle in.
So sets off on the Wednesday morning. Wouldn't pull your foreskin back, and it actually pulled. It nipped again over the line.
Never.
Oh shit. So that was it. So comes back. So it's like, right, back home. I was desperate to go to bed. I was so desperate to go to bed. I was like, no, get back. So back down to the garage. And I never had a garage. I only had a wooden shed. Literally a shed, half this size. Basically, that was where my bike was. And
I love that you just go home to work. I just find that like mental.
So, but that for me, I love that because I was
it's fantastic, isn't it?
Away from the paddock chaos and So gets back home. Pulls it all apart again, does it all back up again, just files the rings away, the pistons away, cleans it up, get a bit of memory on the cylinders, because I was down to my last cylinder now as well. Do you know what I mean? That other one had wrecked that. So I don't want to wreck this one as well. You know, that's me. I've got no spare barrels. Do you know what I mean?
Why did it nip on that, even when it was rich?
I don't know. Honestly, to this day, I don't know. I think maybe because I was rushing it, I didn't triangulate the ring groove or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it was.
So it wasn't nip, but it wasn't wrecked.
Yeah, it wasn't wrecked. It was salvageable. So just with a bit of emery, like scour. Do you know what I mean? Just where you go again.
Oh, the rain off.
Yeah. So it gets going again. So that was Wednesday. So bearing in mind, I hadn't done a clear lap since the Monday night, and I thought, you know what, I need to, I was desperate to put a big on in again. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm desperate to go again. So I hadn't slept since that, that thing. So I'd missed all that night's sleep. So I couldn't even sleep during the day on the Wednesday. I was like, oh God, I just want to go to bed, but I'm just knackered. And I think I even had to go to work. I think no, I didn't that year. I took that. I've done TTs where I've had to do morning practices, go to work, then do the evening practice, then go back to work again. Yeah, just
needs must,
because you couldn't get the time off work. You couldn't get time off work. So comes Wednesday night. So I'm coming out of Ballaspur, my corner. I'm going down towards Dorrans. And there was a reverse, I remember this to this day, there was a reverse cylinder TZ as I came out of Ballaspur. I remember seeing him and I'm thinking, you know yourself, when you get stuck behind someone in Glenellen, it's a nightmare because it's real. You're losing time. So I thought, I'm not fucking losing time here, I'm fucking drilling him. So he went over Billig Bridge and I thought, right, I'll just dive up the inside of him. So I went up the inside of him and of course then he shut the door on me. So I then literally go between him and the door. I didn't hit him, but I ripped me back open here on the rock face. Bang, massive big white flash in my eyes. Still on the bike. Shit. Managed to keep going. Carries on. And I knew I'd done something because my back had gone cold and I could feel my leathers flapping. I was thinking, oh shit. What? It wasn't sore. It wasn't sore really as much. I just knew that I'd caught it badly and ripped it. So I carries on that lap round, comes back in, and I says to me, so I pulls into the hole there as you come down the north ramp, comes back in there. I says, Dad, I've caught me back. I says, what, just have a look. And my dad's like, I think you're going to have to go to hospital, son. So that was it, because there was blood and snot everywhere and all things. So I was like, right.
You had caught.
Oh, yeah, I'd like 12 stitches in my back here.
Jesus.
Just where I caught the rock face. Just, again, by being too
Russian.
Yeah, rather than just going, no, just being too,
Yeah.
rather than just, so that was that. So off to casualty we went, and again, you know what casualty's like, even in them days in the 90s, you still had to sit there for like 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sat there, so I'm shattered. They're takes him in, clean it all up,
Bruno pad.
Yeah, the old wire brush job on there, wire brush and Dettol on it, that'll be all right. Stitched it up. So they sent me off, loads of painkillers. So they said, I thought, right, I just need to go to sleep. So by the time I get home on Wednesday night, it was, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning again. By the time I got all sorted. Gets back, the bike was still shit, wasn't pulling. I hadn't jetted it, I'd jetted it mega rich again, so I was like, this thing's a piece of shit. So that's dwelling on my mind. So I finally get to sleep for like 4 hours, because the trouble was then on a Thursday, it used to be Thursday afternoon practice. So I had to be up early then to get up there to the grandstand for like 9 o'clock to get through scrutineer and then for a 1 o'clock start sort of thing. So I got like 4 hours kip and I needed like 40 hours kip. You know what I mean? I was shattered, I was knackered. As well as trying to work out what was going on in my brain as regards to the trying to learn the TT course, even though I knew where I was going. Just everything is just such a whirlwind anyway, isn't it? So trying to absorb that, as well as being tired, as well as fixing the bike, as well as having issues, as well as cutting myself. And so it comes to Thursday afternoon. I thought, right, Thursday afternoon was always known as the day where everyone put a fast one in. Best conditions of the week. The sun's not an issue too much. It's best conditions, race conditions effectively. So predominantly always everyone set the fastest lap of the week normally on a Thursday afternoon. Right. Everyone put the cards on the table, right, here we go. Let's have a bit. I'm showing you what I've got. So I thought that myself. I thought, right, I'm going to get on here. So first lap, sets off from the grandstand, gets as far as Ballacrane, red flag. Oh, fucking hell. That's that lap knackered. So pulls into Ballacrane, pulls over. We all got pulled in there. There's about 20 or 30 of us all sat there. What's happened? Oh, tractor on the track. Farmer had forgotten, come out of his field, thinking it was an evening practice.
Traffic's awfully quiet.
Yeah. So that was it. So they red flagged us. So it was like,
how
okay.
lucky was that not to hit
I
anyone?
know. So
Jesus Christ.
So that was that. So we were sat there for 5-10 minutes. So the next thing it was like, right, track's clear now you can go. So of course they set us off in waves. You know what I mean? Let's do a couple at a time.
But you can go flat out from that point.
Yeah, went flat out from that point. That was it. Off we went. So got us all going again. So again, it was a bit like wacky races that rest of that lap, just catching people, passing people. So I thought, right, this is going to fly it. I'm going to have a good run here. Good run, Thursday afternoon. But on that first lap on the Thursday afternoon, I came over the mountain, I got to the Black Hut, and the mist was down, but it wasn't down, it was just hovering. So it didn't slow me down, but it was just there.
Yeah.
It's weird, it is, honestly. It's like literally just like a curtain above your head. And so it didn't slow me down. I thought, like, yeah, no problem. Forgot all about that. Got a good run. Mega. It was a good clean lap. I remember going through the 11th milestone. I railed the 11th milestone. I had it mint, real fast. Yeah, loved it. And I always knew that I got that right, and everything was just flowing in, and you know it was going to be a good clean lap. Got to the Black Hut again. Second lap, fucking mist was down this time though. Like poof.
White line.
It was like fuck. So that's again my head being young, dumb, and full of.
I know the road.
Yeah. Trying to think. So I thought, right, I know what I'm doing. I'll be all right. So I just white lined it, just middle of the white line, just. And I'm actually passing people in the mist. And you're like, what? Yeah, I think back now and you think, what are you doing, you idiot?
Yeah, because you were never going to go.
No, the lap was spoiled, but I just still wanted to be the fastest. I wanted to be there. You know what I mean? I wanted to nail it. So it was like, again, rather than using this, I was using this, you know. So I get through Bungalow, goes up Bungalow, up Haywards Rise. I remember passing people going up Haywards Rise. They were like that, and I was just like, meow, off in front of them. Gets to Brandywell, comes out of Brandywell. Before you get, I remember coming out of Brandywell going, right, like that. And then I saw the road go like that a little bit of a kick as you come out of Brandywell before you get to the 32nd, before it goes right, before the left it's 32nd. There's a little kick, and I saw it. I thought, fuck, I'm into the 32nd. So for some reason I just went like that and laid it in, and I rode straight into the gutter. Into the gutter. I remember seeing now, I can see it, visualise it now. I remember riding along the gutter going, fuck, and then straight over the handlebars. I remember flying through the air going, uh-oh.
That footage, is that you?
No.
There's a bike that re-hits him.
Yeah, that was the mountain box. That was
the mountain box. To clarify, that was not him, but there is some famous footage of a bloke in the fog. He goes off the mountain, and the bike actually ricocheted, hit him, and he went higher.
Flies through the air,
and he just goes. He made it like how?
So that was you down the side of the mountain.
So I remember skidding on my back. on the back and seeing my bike coming out of the gutter on its two wheels, and I'm thinking, fuck me, the thing's out of the gutter now. Typical. I was like, that's all I was thinking. I was thinking, typical is out of the gutter now. So I remember next thing is and then that was it. Blacked out. So, and then that was that. And then I remember waking up and I was lying face down. I remember this arm, I'd bust this arm here. So this arm was busted. I couldn't do anything with that. I'd punctured the roof of my eye here with my glasses had gone through and punctured the roof of my eye. So there's blood everywhere down here. But the worst thing was, I woke up and my ankle was here. Literally, my ankle was here. I'm thinking,
someone's crashed with me.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You know, having your ankle right by your face. I'm not the most bendy person at the best of times. You know, so I was like, right. So then I passed out again. Then I've come back into consciousness again. So I'm lying there and I'm thinking, right.
Does anyone know where I am?
Yeah, someone will be. Again, you crash at a sort of circuit before you stop rolling. The boys are there. They're there picking you up. And, you all right, mate? Yeah, all right. Come on, let's. So I'm lying there. No one's coming. It's misty. It's like misty. I can't move that left leg was underneath me. That one was wrapped in the fence. So I was. It's weird. The things that play with your mind when you're lying there. I was more worried about my right leg
because it was wrapped in the fence.
Because I was pulling that and I couldn't pull it. I'd seen my left leg, so I wasn't worried. I knew it snapped, but I could see it. Whereas I was thinking, well, if I've done that to that one, is that one? Yeah, all sorts of things go through your mind, don't they? So I'm lying there, and I could still hear the bikes behind me, and I'm thinking,
no one knows.
No one knows I'm here. No one knows I'm here because it was in them days there was no line of sight marshalling or anything. It was
especially those conditions as well.
Yeah.
Is that the rule? You see line of sight, so you've got to be able to see.
Yeah, every marshal. That's why we need 600 odd marshals.
Right.
So every marshal point has a line of sight, so they can watch you go through and know that
no one will lose. Yeah. Or if they do, they know where to look.
Yeah. So that was it. So I'm lying there. I'm in and out of consciousness. So I start shouting, "Oh!" Like you do, freaking out. So no one was coming. So I'm like, by this time, I'm like proper hysterical, in and out of consciousness, passing in and out.
Using your ankle as a phone.
Yeah. My feet smelt a bit, but that's all right. But, so I'm lying there, and so I start to lose my voice. Then I'm like, I couldn't
scream.
Nothing happening. So I'm like, fuck, this isn't good. This is not good. So I thought to myself, I knew to myself, obviously from being a TT fan, I knew that by the time the end of the session would come, they'd check you through and go, hang on, where's number 100 gone? He's still stuck on the map. Wait, let's go and find him. But again, days of no Tetra and telephones, it was, that could take half an hour, 3/4 an hour, if anything.
You don't know what's bleeding. Nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So panic setting in.
Yeah. So I'm proper freaking at this point. So I'm lying there. So I had a showy helmet that I'd bought from J&S, or J&S before it was J&S, that was over the TT. In the TT week, I bought a couple of cheap helmets.
Yeah.
Not that you should buy. I'm not implying that you buy cheap helmets, but
it did its job.
But yeah, it was a shoey, and it was all I could afford at the time. So I bought two shoeys, one as a spare. So I had that. But I had the seatbelt clasp on it.
Yeah.
So I was able to get that off my head basically with one arm. Mm-hmm. So because that was knackered, I couldn't. That was that was gone. So I literally got me helmet off. Well, I got my glove off first. I got my glove off that hand, and I wasn't probably in the line from here to the end of the caravan, away from the roadside, but it was dropped down over the hillside, so no one could see me. You see, so I'm just lying face down, like down that way.
So you were off the road.
I was off the road down the hillside, but out of sight. So, I could either so I literally got my glove off and I chucked my glove behind me to try and hopefully it would go on the road and see, but that obviously didn't work. So I thought, right, I need to get my helmet off now. So you do these things, don't you? It's fight or flight, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So I got my helmet off and I literally heard this bike coming out of Brandy. So I just went, oh, I didn't give a shit whether it hit him or whatever. I just wanted to be seen. So it literally bounced in front of this lad. He then pulls in at Windy Corner and says, there's a helmet just come across the track. You better get down there. Someone's off. So then they sent the travel marshal then from the bungalow up to find me, and he obviously found me because there was a gaping hole in the fence. But those 4-inch concrete posts at the other side of the road, one done my arm and one done my hip. So I'd taken 2 of those out.
So it wasn't your leg; it was your hip.
Yeah, my hip, top of my femur. So I've done my femur in 3 places, and my ball joint off the top of my hip. So,
Jesus,
yeah.
I wish I hadn't asked that actually.
So that was my first ever exploits to the TT course.
And you
still went back.
Well,
and you went back and won.
Yeah. Well, because again, I goes back to normal way of life. Go back to normal way of life, work, and so I goes back to the glue pot, the shipping, and so
they're sponsoring you and your son.
Yeah.
By the way, the amount of time
the ship's closed now. The ship's closed now. Glue pot's still going, but so I goes back working there, and it's fella's like, oh, you'll give that up now, then, won't you? And I'm like, no. What do you mean I give it up? What? That's the last thing what I do. I don't want to just give up on it. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't know what's going on in my head. I want to win it, not give up the first opportunity. Like bike racers don't do. We don't.
How did your dad take this, by the way?
Yeah, well, he wasn't particularly happy.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, I felt sorry for my dad because I put my dad through hell. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously lost my mum and so but
you're in the ship in, I'm going back for more.
Yeah.
So what was the time gap from that 1995 to what year did you win it?
96, I did the Manx again.
Yeah.
I just wanted to survive it that year. I literally just wanted to survive. I just thought, you know what, I cannot afford to crash here again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went dead steady. I think I finished 4th or something, 5th or something. Do you know what I mean? 250 race, dead steady. And then so 97, then I could ride the production bike at the TT. So that's when I bought the production bike. In the off season of 96, I bought a production bike, like I say, that had been buried in the hedge at the end of Cronkervoddy.
Right.
So it was in a garage. I knew it was in a garage in Douglas. A fella called Rod. Oh, he's a paramedic.
Stuart.
No, Rod Stewart.
Imagine Rod Stewart smashed a fireplace.
I don't know, he'd probably be up for that, wouldn't he?
Is this at the time where I remember from my 2000 video where like Prodi
were mega money. mega money.
But also they had like number plates on.
Yeah. It wasn't a stock.
Not like stock now.
No, it was a production bike. Was a production bike. You literally took the end. You changed it. You could change the end can, the suspension, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was mega. It was mega, straight out the crate. So, but the trouble was that at that time, production bikes were mega money, and I couldn't afford that on my wages. I just smashed me TZ up that I was still paying Dennis Trollope off because
and your dad that you didn't pay off.
I never paid anyway. But again, I just paid me dad. I owed my dad $7,500. And then I spent $5,500 repairing it after it went down the hillside. Dennis Trollope, bless him, he put me on the Never Never, so I was paying Dennis back.
Class.
Yeah, I mean, so to get me back on the track.
That would not happen now.
No.
Do you know the last person that ever did that for me, and he was of the I would say the old school. I never asked him. He offered it to us. Was Mark Hodson, Neil Hodson's dad, and he was like synonymous 125s and stuff like that. And I needed a front wheel. I'd fucking written Pete Banks's bike off, and he just went, "You're gonna need all this stuff. I'll just send it you." And he goes, "Here's when you can."
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen now. It's mint. I love stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, but to say it wouldn't happen, it might actually, because again, races.
Yes, there is an element of it, but it's definitely not the same, is it?
Yeah. So 96, I thought, right, I need a production bike to do the production to because everybody else was doing it.
You needed that. You lose an advantage by not doing it.
So I thought I need to buy a production bike, but I couldn't afford. I think they were like 10, 11 grand in them days. That was before parallel imports came in. It was just at the time before parallel imports came.
Yeah.
So it was mega money. So it was a 93 Fireblade I bought.
From Rod Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, from Rod Stewart. But I just needed a bike. I need a bike. I didn't. So I just said, I'll just have it. So I think I paid like $3,500 for it, $4,000 for it, with unseen. Just I thought, well, it can't be too bad, can it? Can't be too bad. So I gets it. I went down to the garage. It was just covered still in the hedge from Concavodi. There was still mud and everything in it. So it gets it back home, pulls all the mud out. The alternator case had been smashed and gone. So it kicked the alternator back, hadn't it? Bent the crank. So it turns the engine over. The crank's web's doing end of the crank's doing this. I'm like, no. So the crack pulls even more shit out of it. Big massive crack down the crankcase when the alternator had come back and smashed the crankcase. So it's like, fuck.
This is a proper
write-off. This is not even the engine salvageable. Do you know what I mean? The frame I took a chance on and never didn't send it off to Motorline or anything. It was just like, got a tape measure on it. Yeah, be right. Look, seems about right. Do you know what I mean? So got another front wheel from a Breakers. Did all that. I thought, right, I can't afford to buy another engine from a Breakers or anything. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm gonna have to just weld the cases up. So strips it down, matches up the shells, new shells to I got a second-hand crank from the Breakers as well. Matched up the shells to the webs on the crank. Put that in, welded the cases up. That was it. Went off. Finished 23rd in the TT that year. Did 130 mile an hour lap. Was my
from being a two-stroke man straight onto
to a Fireblade,
literally out of the ditch.
How did you find that?
Loved it.
Did you?
Yeah, loved it. Like, because again,
sorry,
no. Slouching. Because I love my high corner speed, with having the more terminal speed on the big bike at the TT. I don't think you riding a big bike round here. You triangulate it, you get on the back tire.
Yeah.
Where the TT, you can still ride a big bike,
fast,
flowing. Like a 250. You can carry a big corner speed without spinning up and stuff because you're on big torque gear and you're not aggressive with it, so you can and that's what makes it so magical riding a big bike around the TT course. I love them. So so that was that. So it was like, right, that was good. That was a good little thing. So I thought, right, 97. I had a good sponsor that year as well, Martin Bullock from the Isle of Man.
Jesus, yeah.
He wanted me to. There's the first man that was going to I wasn't going to buy my own bike or my dad or someone. He said, I want you to ride my 250 Honda.
Class.
So I was like, right, yeah.
He's a big name in racing, in road racing, huge name.
Right.
And that was, and I'd gone from a TZ as well to an RS 250, and the RS was like
better.
Yeah, and it was actually McGuinness's bike.
Right.
He had bought McGuinness's bike that he'd done the TT on. So, the trouble was, that year, Mike Casey, my teammate, got killed on it at Balagary.
Oh, Christ.
So that was shit. That was proper bad. Like, obviously bad. And that would all come from, he'd done a lap on the 600, first lap on the 600, jumped on the 250 on the second lap, turned in early, clipped the curb, And again, that's always instilled into my newcomers. In your first year, just concentrate on one motorbike. Just one motorbike, you know what it does, you know where it stops, you know where it turns, rather than jumping off one to another and another, and everyone thinks, oh, I need to get more laps and more laps. You're better off, because you can ride in every class anyway, so you're better off just riding the one bike.
Yeah.
Just, you know what it does, you know where it stops. You know
That is a great thing. So, like, let's use Glenn Irwin, for example. You know, he turned up just on the Stocker was a Superbike. Stocker, yeah. But obviously he'd go out in the 600 sessions, the lightweight sessions. You know, that's brilliant. That.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of just going, you have to be out with. The
I never knew that. Baz was telling us about that.
The only thing you can't do is if you turned up on a Super Twin, you can't go out on. The Super
you have.
If on the faster bike, you know, because you're going to be the weak link in the chain, effectively. In the
other way around.
Yeah. So,
and do you recommend that people go on big bikes?
I always recommend you should ride the bike that you used to ride in, because what tends to happen is, Dan will tell you this, you go to the TT, you're working all year and someone's saying, well, you know, you're predominantly a 600 rider, and someone like, I've got a super bike you can borrow if you want. And you go, yeah, all right then, yeah, just another ride, another entry, I've got it. And then you don't know how it goes, you don't know how it rides, whereas you should always ride the bike, especially in your tentative years, your first couple of years, just ride the bike you used to ride and you know how it goes. It's like, the way I just always describe it, it's like putting a set of gloves on in it. You know, you put a new set of gloves on, it's like, oh, these are horrible. You put your old gloves on. You can feel the handlebar, you know what it does. But so for me, you just want to just concentrate on the bike you used to ride. If you're used to riding stock thou or Super Sport 600s, you ride that bike. You don't think, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll ride a Super Twin because it's a little bit slower. Just concentrate on the bike that you
I think you almost ride the slow bikes harder as well.
You do. 100%. 100%. You know, you scratch on a 600 a lot harder than you do on a big bike. The big bike, you can point and squint. I call it meerkatting. You can meerkat. When you learn the circuit, you can meerkat on a big bike. You can just point, squirt it, have a look. Okay, I know where I am. Yep. And then you back up to terminal speed pretty quickly. Whereas on a 600, you've got to do a half decent lap, you've got to hang it out. You've got to proper hang it out. Do you know what I mean? So it's harder to go faster on the little bike than it is on the bigger bike. But like I say, if you're predominantly a 600 rider, you should concentrate on the 600, or if you're stock. So that's what I always try to recommend to lads. But again, some people, want to ride the Super Twin because they've been offered it, but that's up to them. But I always say, look, just on one.
So the Prix TT you did, and you won the TT. Which class? That was a lightweight TT, wasn't it? No.
Well,
no.
Yeah. But before I got there, obviously 97.
Yeah.
So in 97,
this is a hell of a career. We're going to be here till
it's all lining up to me.
Yeah, good man.
So in 97, I did the Prix TT.
Yeah.
So
which gave you the advantage for
Yeah. So I thought, right, I'm having the Manx. But obviously then poor old Mike got hurt, and so that was that bike. But Martin said, it's all right, I'll get another bike, we'll sort this out. So but before that I went to the Sun 100, and I high-sided off the 250 at Ballabeg Corner and broke my collarbone. But I had a mega battle with Joey Dunlop the night before on the Wednesday night.
That's class. You go from your first time not wanting to be lapped by him to actually battle. It's nice.
I mean, you probably know yourself, but when you're riding with your hero, and I was just remember breaking into Ballabeg, going, "Don't fucking crash into Joey Dunlop." You're a bit out of control, aren't you, on the brakes? And you're like, "Oh," and you're thinking, "Don't take him back out." Which I mean, and so
I'll never be allowed in.
So then I was passing him, and he passed me, and then. So that race was amazing. That Wednesday night was amazing. I was on cloud 9. Came to the Thursday night in the 600 race on the 250. So I was backwards against the wall anyway. Got a bad start. Came to Ballabeg hairpin. Too much on the clutch. Big high side. Broke my shoulder. Broke my collarbone. And that was it. So I thought, it's all right. Manx Grand Prix is only 3 weeks later. I'll be, your collarbone you can get your collarbone. Yeah. It's a one.
Yet again, racer logic.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that.
That's it.
It's only for when you're putting plasterboard up in it. But, so I thought, So that was that. So it was a bad break. So then they had to pin it, plate it, did all sorts of 5 operations on it later. So cut the long story short, I missed the 97 Manx.
Yeah.
So I never rode a bike then till just before the 98 Manx, because it was such a bad injury. I got an infection in it, they plated it, they pinned it, they cable tied it. They did everything with it.
Jesus.
So that was it. So I missed all that build up in the season. So then it comes to 98 then. So I thought, right, 98, again, I'm injured, I just want to get round and survive it. So Martin bought me a brand new, it was an ex-John McGuinness 250 Honda, the spare bike, a 98 one. So I did that, finished second. Thank you very much. Second in the lightweight. That'll do me. First time I'd ever ridden a 600. Finished 6th on that, I think, 5th or 6th on that on the 600 race. That'll do.
Jesus.
Yeah, straight off the bat, it was good, mega, dead happy. So I went then into 99 and the real spring forward. I was like, right, this is
TT.
yeah,
Here we go.
this is it. So then I bought myself my own production bike, a ZX. I bought a new one. I bought a ZX9. But that again, this was at the time when they were mega expensive. But the R1 was the bike to have. You had to have an R1. You know, the 99 R1 was the bike to have, wasn't it? You know, 98, 99 R1 was just streets above everything.
So you went and bought a Kawasaki, good lad.
Because they were cheaper, Dom. That's why I could get a deal on that. I couldn't get a deal on an R1.
No.
I literally couldn't get a deal on it. So I spoke to George Short on the Isle of Man, who was the Kawasaki dealer at the time, S&S Motors. I said, George, look, how much he says, I'll do it at cost for you. He says, I won't make a penny on it. I'll just do it.
What it cost me.
Yeah, what it costs you can do it. I says, right, I'll have it. So that was it. Bought it. And I thought, you know what? ZX9 is probably not the bike. For me, I wasn't going to win it. I was never going to win the production TT. I just wanted laps.
Yeah.
So I thought, that'll do for me. I'll get circulated. They were fast. They weren't the best chassis, but they were fast. But then trying to get bits for it was an aggro because not many people were racing them. So So I ended up putting a flip-up screen and all sorts of things from M&P. Again, I'm giving M&P a good advertisement here. I got bought it straight out of the catalogue. Putting
just for the BSB team, just write this down before it gets released. Don't you worry, just like that.
Yeah. So I managed to get this ZX9, got that sorted out. I was doing the Northwest 200 and stuff on it as well because I've done Northwest 200 as well in '97 and
on 250
on the Fireblade as well and the 250 and I think I finished 8th or something there. I think was my best finish Brilliant. At the Northwest. I always had, like I say, always crashed or blew up there. I'd never had 250 always seized or did something.
Yeah.
I remember, I crashed. That was we'll get to 2000 in a minute, but so that was that, and then so in '99 I got this bog stock ZX9, which wasn't a bike to have, and I started 23 because I'd finished 23rd on the Fireblade.
Yeah.
In '97, so they put me in at 23.
Can I just ask, what did you do with that Fireblade?
I sold it to a lad.
Scrap dealer.
No, I sold it to my next door neighbour.
And did he know?
Yeah. But I sold the dirt cheap, like you do. You just sell that on to buy the next bike, don't you? So I literally gave it away. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Someone's got that in the world, hopefully.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hope so. I mean, it was a good bike. It was. She was right.
Wasn't a good bike. Don't fucking lie.
It was probably quicker than standard because you welded it up.
Well, it was. I mean, I think I did 113 on it. McCallum was only just doing 120s on his blade then, so it wasn't that far off the pace for an older bike. Do you know what I mean? So it was all right. It was all right. It did the job. Did the job.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Yeah, so
just wondered.
Yeah, I always remember I set off 66, number 66, and that year Honda did a big push on the Firestorm. The Firestorm was just out, so there was loads of lads on Firestorms in front of me, and it was like wacky races because I was 66, and there must have been 10 Firestorms in front of me, and they were mega off up to 130 mile an hour. They were just as quick as a blade. But then it just ran out of steam, so I just come to any straight, so straight back. Oh, it was ace! It was what a race that was. It was really good. Just a whole, when you have races where you never see anybody,
and then suddenly,
at some races you're constantly passing people. That was one of those races where I literally just passed everybody everywhere. It was literally just catch, pass,
Class.
And it kept me going, and that's thing. So that was. So we're on to '99. So '99, I thought, right, here we go. Let's have a good go on this, and I'd just done not much racing on it. It was just like I say, I just bought it to the Northwest, I think, and then came here. So I started 23, end of the first lap, I was 7th. Poof, there we go. Happy days, I was on it. I was proper on it, 117 mile an hour lap. But then I started to catch traffic then. I remember battling, it was like, oh, fucking get me away. And then, so I think I finished 9th in the end in that. And that was all right. I mean,
fair play on an inferior bike.
Yeah. But it was. I always remember it was the first time I'd ever gone down Sulby Straight, and you always go down Sulby Straight, and it's always because I never used to wear earplugs. Never wore earplugs. Do you know what I mean?
What?
I never, because from the 2-stroke days, I never. I don't know. I never wore earplugs. that's why I'm mutton now. Do you know what I mean? I'm completely deaf now. But it was the first time I'd ever gone down Sulby Straight and I didn't hear anything. It was like whoosh. I was literally, with that big flip up screen, I was literally in the bubble. I was like, oh, this is all right. But until you came out and just went, broke your neck as you're trying to slow yourself down. But yeah, she was a fast old girl, but she did, she was a bit, I put an Olin shock and stuff on. I think it sold the Olin shock to Wade Boyd in the end. I think the following year or something for his TT thing. So yeah, so that was that. 99 was good. So I comes to the 99 Manx Grand Prix. I thought, right, this is my. So I set the Manx the Southern 100 off. I set out of it. I thought I don't want to go and
take the risk.
Yeah, make myself off again. So I was like, no, just get that out of the way. So I missed the Southern 100 that year. Went right. Okay, Manx Grand Prix is the one I want to win. So again, Martin, bless him, he literally went out and bought John McGuinness's T-bike, spare bike, because McGuinness that year was doing the British 250 Championship. I think he won it that year.
Yeah.
On the Vimto bike, Vimto Honda, and so we bought the wet bike off him. It was just it wasn't like an A, because everyone was like, oh, it's a Vimto Honda. It's not. And I was thinking, no, it's not A-kitted TSR chassis. It's just an RS250 with clock tower pipes. That's all it had on it. But it was still good. It was better than the 98 one. It's power jet carb, so it drove better. It was a big step on from 98 from the 99 from 98 bike was a big step. Yeah, it was a good step. So I was like, right, okay, I'm going to give it a portion here. And Blandy, bless him, Blandy works now at K-Tech. He was McGuinness's mechanic, so they literally came over and delivered it that day. And so they stayed for the first night of practice, and that was it. So I literally went out, boshed it, set the lap record straight away, bang. And that lap record that I did in the race was 115 mile an hour, and that lasted till young James Hind
in the Manx, yeah.
The Manx
he
just beat it. He just beat it. Literally, he did
on the 250.
On the 250, yeah. So he just beat it because it stood for like 15, 20 years almost, and then in his last
party
year...
Come on, before you carry on talking, a party must have gone, little bastard. No, I tell you what, though, if you're going to lose your lap record to anyone, it's James. That is the ultimate gentleman. He's such a nice lad, but I bet a party just went, you're never going to TT, ain't you, son?
No, it had to go. Again, like we were saying before, lap records were only...
Oh, come on, we're all friends here. Just tell us a party you must have.
Yeah, but I always knew that I was on 364s, he was on slicks. The track is 12 seconds faster at least.
I like it, mate. I like it.